Play starts. Nigeria, who elected to bat first, will take to the field and look to set the runs target on the board for Rwanda to chase. Opening pair hasn't shifted. Lucky Piety still goes in there. This time it is a more Sigo Egwagun she partners with on strike. The Benedian Victory would not be opening batting. And there's also been a rotation in the bowling as the captain Marie will not be the starter this time around. Belize takes the first ball and starts off great with a dot. These two sides have been heavily present. Started this whole series as a bilateral series. The very first edition was a bilateral series which Nigeria came victorious in. And subsequently, more teams started to get involved. More nations started to get involved. And now, in the fifth edition, these two still make themselves present. And that will be a boundary for the female yellow greens. A very big wide. Wicket-keeper couldn't deal with it. And Nigeria will welcome it. 5 runs off that one ball that will still end up being rebowled way too far off the reach of even the wicket-keeper. Nigeria off to a blistering start. 1 good ball already, 5 off the bad. Still 5 more balls to go in the over. A dropped catch in the slips. Ning swing that edged all the way towards the region of the filter. And Nigerian's keeper has been given an extra life. The ball swinging in Lucky Piety with a late decision going full face off the bat. And that early wicket would have done a lot of damage and boosted the morale of the field inside. LB appeal of wicket, and the captain Lucky Piety has to go back to the stands. Lucky of the previous ball. This time the bowler gets the wicket herself, and Lucky Piety will walk back to the pavilion very quickly as the game started. Bob, you can look at that ball. Tell us more about it.
Thank you, Peter. Full straight up lumber, as easy as you like. As of course, she draws first blood is Belize Mrekatete, who makes of course a comeback into the 11 of the Rwandans. She missed out on the last game they played. When you look at the, of course, at the team list, Usajimana Slivia and Rosina Irela making way for Giovannis and Belize Mrekatete as she picked up the very first wicket and the big one of the opposition captain, Lucky Piety, who has to depart. One time Lucky put down by Rosina Irela in slips, but second time struck goal is Belize Mrekatete. And Musa Kahinde joins. Let's have a look at the two sides. Of course, Lucky Piety already back into the dugout at the cooler shoulder. And Musa Kahinde out there in the middle. Christabel Chukwonye, Esther Sandy, a team Sarah. We can keep a batter. Peace Hussein Salome Sande anointed. Ude Liliana, who is back into the side. And Henrietta, the debutant in the other game. Full on that occasion from Belize Mrekatete. Much better comeback from Belize Mrekatete, despite of course going for that extra that went all the way for a boundary. She's managed to ball in the right channels. She has a third man in play and a deep extra cover. The only 2 fielders outside the ring for Belize Mrekatete.
Kindly Amusa has maintained that number as 1 down. Female yellow greens are very, very much in control of this game. Victory Benedion is not part of the team playing today after getting retired out in the previous match. And so Omosigo Egwagun has had to step up, and she will actually look to build a partnership for the first time with Kende and Musa Muhiba.
Full again, angling into the pads, allowed a pay, but the umpire says not outer. That looked like was missing leg stamper. A very good start there from Belize Mrekatete and Team Rwanda. As we come to the end of the first, let's have a look at that again on the replay. Full, a very good decision. Would have missed leg stamp by a mile. 5 for 1 after 1. Because if you're just joining us, this is match day 4, game 8. A blockbuster over game. A clash of the Titans, you'd say that was the first wicket and the big one. Look at the celebration, it tells you a thing or two. Lucky Paiti has been haunting Team Rwanda with the bat, of course. And they've made sure they pick a wicket in the very first over. Putting, of course, the female yellow greens on the back foot. Spinner from the pavilion end, Rosine Irera. She has a sleeping play in her captain, Dianmi Menyimana. Starts off with one outside off stamper, but this time round picks the fielder at pointer, Umutoni Uwase Clarice, who's been very, very good in the field for her side. Most highly anticipated game before we get into the semi-finals. Host nation winning the toss decided to have a bat first. Cut away powerfully. Look at the effort there from covers. But they scamper for a quick run. The fielding has been spot on inside 1.2.
Big clash of the Titan games it is. Rwanda already on a 3-game winning streak will look to extend it as they have much deserved rest day tomorrow. They will not be having any match already in the playoff rounds. And still wanting to maintain that unbeaten record. They've started off great against the Simi Yellow Green. 6 runs only of 9 deliveries.
Not a bad start, you'd say. Again, plays it back straight to the bowler herself. Of course, these two sides are yet to taste a defeat in this tournament at the 5th edition. Given that the semi-finals are around the corner, Nigeria, who are having a very good net run rate of 5. A diving effort there from the fielder at covers, but in vain. But what an effort in the deeper as they scamper for a quick 2 runs. Sloppy there, you would say, from Alice Ikuzwe at covers. Of course, Peter, these two sides have played each other 26 times. Rwanda winning 13. The female Yellow Greens would love to level head-to-head with the Team Rwanda. Wideish delivery there, swing and a miss, nearly takes the outside edge as we come to the end of the second. A very tidy over there from Irela Rosine, going for only 3 runs. It's 8 for 1 after 2. Coming back to the blockbuster of the game we have here on our cards. They have played 26 times. Rwanda winning 13 and Nigeria 12 and 1 tie, of course. Should be a cracker we have here this afternoon.
Every team is looking to maintain a winning streak in this tournament. That is why the point table fixture is very much a tiebreaker. Nigeria wants to maintain that dominance and want to even out on matches played, on wins taken. And Rwanda want to extend their unbeaten streak in this tournament. It remains to see who comes out on top and who shows more determination and perseverance.
You look at, of course, these two sides yet to test the defeat. Rwanda, on the other hand, they have tested the young side of the South Africa under-19s. The game that went down to the wire. Rwanda, of course, turning out victorious with a 4-run victory. Whereas the female Yellow Greens have picked up 2 wins with ease. They're yet to be tasted. Can this be the game, of course? Into the pads again, Laula Peel. But the umpire turns it down.
Not looking pretty at all for the female Yellow Greens. The attack from the bowling has been sporadic and accurate, And the batters have had to show a little bit of temperament as it's looking very, very difficult for them to combat really steadily. The early wickets of Lucky Party must have destabilized some sort of game plan. I'm sure they wanted to play at least towards the end of the power play overs with all 10 wickets intact.
Full of the occasion, well driven, a diving effort there in the deeper, but in vain as the ball races away to the boundary. Lovely cover drive from Egukun.
Coming in for a Benedict victory, she's off to a good start. That is very, very encouraging for the team, and she as well. Not really much has gone on so far in terms of the batting innings. But the bowling has been accurate, except for the wide fall that was spurted in the first over. There's been more clinicality and more near perfect bowling from the Rwandan side than we've seen in previous matches.
Expect to see a lot of mind games between these two sides. Payson on that occasion from Belize Mereketete, and she paid the price, bowling it into the arc of Egakun. Capitalizing, of course, given that there are only two fielders outside the ring, a third man and a wide disher, the extra cover. Full on the occasion, knocks her over. The middle stump has to be rearranged as she picks up a second wicket. Is Belize Mereketete. One shot too many, and this time round, she pierces that little gap between bat and pads, knocking the middle stump out of the ground. 13 for 2.
Very commendable bowling from the bowler. She's been very consistent in going towards the stump on multiple occasions. This time she had the last laugh. Not the right shot that should have been offered. Should have gone much more forward with the bat and trying to go to the leg side for a ball that was actually coming straight. Now 2 wickets already in the power play. Just less than 3 overs completed, and Salome Sunday is having to come in quite early as well. They didn't have a very good game in the previous round of fixtures against Ghana, and she will look to do better than that this time around, hopefully, I would say.
Salome Sunday joins Amusa Kahinde, who's been watching a lot of action from the other end, but it tells you a thing or two about this fixture. Salome Sunday normally doesn't bat in the power play, but she finds the red-hotted Belize Mereketete after picking 2 wickets, going for only 10 runs. But I'll tell you, those 10 runs have come in extras, and of course that boundary from Egwakun, who had to depart. Every time she's bowled in the right channels, she's really troubled the female yellow greens. Is Belize Mereketete. 13 for 2 after 2.3. Salome Sunday, who has scored a lot of runs against Team Rwanda, they will know this is the wicket they need.
I couldn't agree less with you. And also, Rwanda will be looking to maintain a winning streak. And if you take a look at that replay again, very precise. Not the inexperience took over, not the right shot to have gone with. But wicket is off, and remains to see if Salome Sunday can't take up that mantle very early in the game. So Rwanda already on a 5-match winning streak. The last time they lost was to Tanzania in the World Cup qualifier, and that was last year, September. And since then, they've gone on to win 2 matches, including 3 in this competition, and they will look to extend that against the Nigerian side, who have won the last 3 matches.
Talking about the winning streak, they have already put the female yellow greens and the host nation on the back foot, having lost 2 openers already back into the dugout for only 13 runs. They stick to the slip fielder in Rosine Irera for the new batter in. Third man and deep extra cover. Salome Sunday, who's scored a lot of runs on the onside. Full and straight, a tattoo on the occasion. Gotta be very careful batting on this double-paced wicket. Some balls, of course, will be carrying to the wicket keeper, but again, when you look at that previous delivery, Peter, it kept the tap too low.
Admiration of that ball from Belize kind of like deceived Salome Sunday. Salome Sunday played to the swing, expecting that ball to come in. That ball just stayed straight and into the arms of the wicket keeper.
Full on that occasion again, straight as a die. A lot of work to be done by the 2 fielders, who will only collect the ball from the boundary ropes as she gets off the mark in style. Is Salome Sunday.
powerful front foot punch from Salome Sunday. Went straight on that ball this time, sought the ball, and off the first bounce, it went above the bowler, straight into that piercing gap, straight down, 4 more runs. And Salome Sunday is starting to establish herself in the popping crease.
Not an easy shot, I'll tell you that. Lawful tosser, given of course the pace she balls out. That was a very good shot, you would say, from Salome Sunday. Last ball to come. A little bit expensive from Belize Mrekatete's second over. 9 runs coming off the first 5. She would love to finish on a high. Beats the outside edge, pace on, and it carries to the wicket keeper. Lovely way to end her second over is Belize Mrekatete. 17 for 2 after 3. Love the fact that Peter, in the last couple of months, she's been working on that pace, and look at that carry to the wicket keeper. It tells you the efforts these young ladies are putting in with their coaches, of course. Expect to see the likes of Giovannis and Ishimwe Henriette, who's not played much in this tournament so far. But she's a player who loves the big stage, especially these kind of clashes, is Ishimwe Henriette. We haven't seen, of course, the likes of Diane, who's been very, very good with the ball in hand. But Rosine will be bowling a second. Starts off with a dot ball. She has a long on in Ishimwe Henriette and a deep square leg, the only 2 fielders outside the ring. In the air this time round, bottom man comes into play, run out chance. Not the best of throws from Giselle Ishimwe as they pick up a quick single, good running between the wickets. Allowing, of course, Salome Sunday, who loves spin. She is a powerful player, Peter. Goes on the back foot, full face of the blade, straight to the fielder at mid-off.
Good work by Alice in that mid-off, already blocked off. 2 balls coming to our region. Bowling in variations, leaving the batters of the Nigerian side quite confused, not knowing what type of ball is coming next. And that he's walking for Rwanda at the moment.
Another dot ball there from Rosine Irera. Back-to-back dot balls here. We all know the pressure of dot balls. Goes for a big shot up. And the catch is being taken. Commentators can see, you would say, Peter. Well set by Rosine Irera. 3 dot balls on the trot. And she closes off her second over with a massive wicket over Salome Sunday. But not to take away the catch over Ishimwe. I beg your pardon. Giselle Ishimwe, yes, diving forward. They know how big the wicket is of Salome Sunday.
Much deserved. She stopped 2 previous balls there. And this one wasn't there for the plane. Salome didn't get that contact. Already halfway into the ball. And that just sends that ball into the awaiting arms of the fielder. Lovely drive, I will commend the dive. Approached that ball at the lowest and got the reward. It's 3 quick wickets. And it's not looking good for the female Yellow Greens. And then to the 4th over it is. And a beautiful end. It's 18 on the board for 2 wickets lost.
The best way to get out from the experienced Salome Sunday. Have a look at that enticing delivery there from Rosine Irera. She has a lot of variations playing it against the turn, only finding a diving catch over Giselle Ishimwe. 18 for 3 after 4. 2 overs to go in the power play. They find themselves having lost 3 big wickets at the female Yellow Greens. Having won the toss, of course, decided to have a bat first.
And now just almost immediately wickets are falling, sporadically falling, very much faster than raindrops. Amusa still the batter in, By Adeshola Adekunle, who will be batting our very first inning of the tournament, being brought up the batting order.
Interesting move here from the female yellow greens, ascending at the Kula Shola up against the red hotted Belize Mrekatete. Into the pads again. No chance whatsoever from the wicketkeeper batter as the ball races away to the boundary. Extras on offer again from Belize Mrekatete. I'm not sure when you look at that on the replay. Every time she's coming to bowl the very fast ball, she's bowled a wide. I'm not sure it's how she's setting up the batters, Peter.
Each time she's done that, it's come with a reward. Widen the over, and then just not too long after, a wicket follows suit. It remains to see if Kainde Amusa will actually break that jinx that's troubled the team in the past 2 overs of Belize.
Belize Mrekatete up against the player of the year 2025 from the female yellow greens. Full on the occasion, nearly takes the outside edge. Very good comeback from Belize Mrekatete. Turning out to look like a strategy plan from her.
Getting extras eases the nerves of battle because you always expect that you always know that the impossibility of an extra is there, and that is where they are caught off guard by Belize. And in swing might follow soon.
Full again, but straight to the fielder at mid-offer. I'll tell you, despite, of course, the last wicket of Salome Sande getting that low full toss to the boundary ropes, it is a heavy ball to deal with. Got to be very, very carefully. Watch the ball all the way and make sure you use your full face of the blade. 23 for 3 after 4.2.
Since the wide already 3 balls have been bowled and no wickets yet. Safe to say, if a wicket is not forthcoming, no runs is better. And Belize is looking to start to make amends for the extra she's bowled repeatedly in subsequent overs. And now the game, the 4th ball, the 4th leg-out delivery by Belize to Amusa. 3 balls faced. And still keeping our wicket, looking to break the jinx of Belize's bowling inning. Good edge. Caught it beyond the reach of the wicket keeper, and good stop by the slip fielder. Doesn't stop them from completing a run. Amusa takes herself off that scare, but taking herself off strikes and brings Adekunle Shola, who has been brought in up early in the batting order. We used to see her coming at the tail end, 8-9, and now she's coming at number 5.
Sometimes, Peter, this change in the batting lineup, they work in your favor or they work against you. But when you look at that 24 runs on board, Belize has gone for 20 runs. She is not bowling in partnerships, despite, of course, picking up 2 wickets. And every time we've seen the team Rwanda for the last couple of years, every time they relax, a team gets the better out of them. We saw, of course, the other day, the young South African team almost winning that game. They had relaxed in the field, a lot of fumbles in that game and some catches put down. They would love to correct that as soon as possible moving forward. Of course, we have the semi-finals on our cards, and to know who you're playing in the semi-finals is going to be very key in this game. You can't afford, or you don't want to play the young South African team. Hard hands from Adekunle Shola straight to the captain herself. A tidy over there from Belize Mrekatete despite going for those 5 wides. It is the end of the 5th, 24 for 3. Moving at 4.8 runs and over is the female yellow greens. Captain has decided 2 opening bowlers to finish the power play as Rosine comes back to bowl her 3rd. She's been very, very stingy in her bowling. Picking up, of course, the big wicket of Salome Sande, going for only 4 runs. Sticking to that long on and deep square leg. The only 2 fielders outside the ring. Last over of the power play. They would love to get to that 30. If they can get to that 30 without losing any other wicket. And maybe later, oh, look at that turn, beating everyone, including the wicketkeeper. The chase is on by the three fielders, but it will be in vain.
Looking very lovely for the female yellow greens. That late edge of the bat skis off to the boundary for much needed for the female yellow greens.
Good way to start, of course, at the last over. They are now on 28. They would love to capitalize on that boundary from the very first ball and get to that 35 at least. There's no, interestingly, short third man for Rosin Irera. I'm not sure why they're sticking to the slip fielder.
Rosin has been very much consistent on that offside. She's not had to come in or give the bat a reason to go towards the leg side. And she got a very much important wicket of Salome Sunday. She's sticking to that offside, and an edge might just surface into the arms of the awaiting slip fielder.
Full on the occasion from Rosin Irera, but they'll pick up a single at these two. Interesting matchup here to see how Adekula Shola is going to play Rosin Irera's 3 deliveries to come. It's just going to be, of course, giving her the taste of her own medicine. She's troubled the run and batters in the last couple of years is the young Adekula Shola with her leg breaks. Into the pads, works it on the onside. Lovely shot, bringing in, of course, the wrist work. But there's protection in the deeper. They keep the scoreboard ticking at the female yellow greens. Every single run matters in this particular fixture.
I couldn't agree more. The more the runs, the higher your chances of defending it. At this point, the runs are quite low, and the wickets in the power play have been too many. They need to try and play out the rest of this game. We saw how Zimbabwe, for the first time, played out an entire inning in this tournament. It would not really look well for the Nigerian team if they cannot play out to the entire over. Because we know the Rwanda side are very capable of scoring at least 130. If the Nigerian Yellow Greens cannot do that, cannot get to those figures, it would be very difficult to defend.
Very good running there from Kehinde Amusa and Adekule. As we come to the end of the power play, it is 31 for 3. Moving at 5.17 runs and over is the female Yellow Greens. They won the toss. They decided to have a part faster. They have lost 3 wickets in their power play. These two would love to rebuild and steady the ship. Those are some of the wickets, the highlights of the power play.
You can just admire, and this was the wicket of Egwakan. A ball swinging in, wanting to go big on the left side. And this was the most important wicket, the wicket of the Punisher, Salome Sunday. A very familiar face with the Rwandan field inside. And this time she could not replicate previous feats. And Rwanda currently in control, having all 6 infinity stones in their hands. And a snap away from ending this inning almost as soon as possible. First ball of the 7th over after the power play will have to hold for a while. That ball signaled by the umpire, and yet the bowler breaking the opening bowling partnership will come from the Court of Appeal end.
Shot number 50 with 146 T20 international wickets, Ariete Ishimwe. Touch and go straight to the field at covers. Very good running between the wickets. Should be very key, running between the wickets right after the power play, given that the field now is spread. Team Rwanda, who has deep extra cover, long on, deep mid wicket, and the 3rd man in play. They would love, of course, to keep toying with the fielders and chip in those doubles. Make sure you keep the scoreboard ticking. You don't want to get bogged down by the bowling attack of Team Rwanda. No ball signaled.
I think that should boost the morale of the female Yellow Greens. They've not really had the opportunity to play up the bats. 3 previous times that they've tried that, they've lost the wicket. And it's not hard to be more composed and less expressive with the bat. This free hit is going to boost their morale and give them a chance to actually try and go big after such a long time.
Free hit Kehinde Amusa will be facing, of course, the free hitter. Let's see. They have not made any changes in the field, given, of course, that the two batters are crossed. Free hit to come. They would love, of course, to capitalize on this free hit. Is Kehinde Amusa. Hard hands on the occasion, not enough timing, trying to overhit the ball as the free hit goes for just a dot ball.
At this point, remains to see what tricks the Nigerian batting lineup has up their sleeve, because so far the Rwandan side are not just doing a good job at taking wicket, they are doing a good job at keeping the runs at a stalemate.
Swing and a miss nearly takes the outside edge from Henrietta Ishimwe. Enticing delivery there, but again, you would understand why she's bowling it outside off stump, where she has deep extra cover in play.
Only 4 fielders are outside of the 30-yard circle, which includes a third man, a deep point, deep square leg, and a long on. Majority of the fielders are still in the 30-yard circle, and Nigeria hasn't given them a reason to expand their field settings, and it's going according to plan, I will call it, for the Rwandan women.
Keeping the wickets, of course, I'm sure you noticed that it is the young debutant who made their debut, of course, in this tournament, Fanny Utagushima-Ninde. Down the leg side, the wall kept again. First time she is keeping the wickets in the 5th edition, wides on offer. Too many extras, you'd say, here from the Rwandans. Spoke about how sometimes they grab a team, they strangle a team, and when you look at the way they've been bowling at the moment, despite those 3 wickets, they seem to have relaxed. We saw in yesterday's game, I beg your pardon, right before the rest day, we saw the female yellow greens knocks her over straight away. You cannot keep her out of action. Is Ishimwe Ariete as she picks up her first wicket, putting on a smile, of course. She's been the player, she's been the MVP for Team Rwanda for the last 5 years. Coming in from the Court of Appeal end, it took her only 5 deliveries. Let's have a look at that again on the replay.
It is not looking good for the female yellow greens. Another wicket, similar fashion. Those in-swing balls that they've not been really good at playing is destroying the batting order, and the batter is having to leave almost as soon as they've come. The batting order 1, 2, 3, 4 have gone out in no particular order, and now 6 will be pairing there with 7.
Make that 147 wickets in T20 internationals. As you have a look at that again on the replay, the leg cutter keeping a tap too low, middle stop out of the ground. As this, the big fish, the youngster shot number 7, Kehinde Amusa, who has to depart. 4 wickets down inside 6.5 overs.
Christabel finally batting. The last time she batted against Ghana, she went on an explosive rage for the female yellow green. What they need right now is that little bit of explosion, a spark in that explosion, as the runs are not coming, but the wickets are dropping. At this point, it's looking at Nigeria playing an ODI match, because they've been very temperamental, not really gone on an attacking phase. They've been more of a defensive side since the power play.
4 runs coming off her first over with the wicket, of course, of Kehinde Amusa as we come to the end of the 7th. Scoreboard reading 35 for 4.
And that wicket again off the stumps, swings in. Late reaction from Kehinde Amusa. Good game it is going for Rwanda. Back to the drawing board regardless of the results, because both teams likely to face themselves again in the second playoff fixtures rounds, and one team will need to be more dominant, one team will need to come more prepared.
It's going to be the captain herself. Picked up 3 wickets against the Zimbabwe Under 19 side coming from the pavilion end. Up against Adekule and Christabel Chukwonye, who has to be very, very key moving forward for the female yellow greens.
The captain has taken our time, let the top order bowling, dropped ourselves from the top order bowling and let all the take the field first. And now already into the middle order. And we are very familiar with Marie and a swing bowling. Wickets might start falling very, very quickly.
Wonderfully played by Adekule Shola. I'll tell you a thing or two. Normally she's been opening the bowling, given that every time there's always a breeze and they have been playing in the morning. And it's also nice to have, to give a chance to the likes of Beriz Mrekatete, who missed out in the previous game. And Rosina Irera on the other side, she's been doing it for her side for now 4 years, picking up wickets in her first play. Loud appeal on that occasion, but the umpire turns it down. That looked very, very close from up here in our commentary box.
Yeah, the swing backfires on the middle storm she bowled, swinging outside of leg, and the batter survives a scare. Adeshola Adekunle not quite ready to match the experience of Marie Bimeyimana.
In the this time round, there's a fielder settling herself. One time lucky, but this time round, she picks the only fielder at point. Umuton Uwase Clarice taking an easy catch as Adekule Shola has to depart. Make that 5 wickets already, the halfway, already into the 7.3 overs, halfway the stage of the female yellow greens are back into the dugout.
Yeah, frustration setting in, always wanted to go out. They've not had anything on the board and they cannot continue to stay like this and hope for extras. The extras are no longer coming as Bellis is not the bowler on the ball anymore. And now they've had to play off their bat and it's not looking good. Finally, Esther Sandy will step in. Another very experienced player for the female yellow green. She's been part of this team in the last 3 editions. No, I want to also point out something for you, Bob. No player for these female yellow greens played in the very first edition of the bilateral series. None of them are currently in this team. The likes of Rachel Sampson, Favor Esaigbe, they are not part of this team right now. Meanwhile, the Rwandan side have about 4 players who played in the very first edition of the bilateral series. The likes of the captain herself, and Giselle Inchimwe, Flora, and Henriette. They have the experience. They understand this tournament better than any other person on this field right now.
To correct you there, Peter, there's one player, there's one person, I beg your pardon, who is in the female yellow greens, but not as a player, as the assistant coach, in blessing a team who was in the first, of course, that bilateral series.
Thank you very much for that correction, Bob. I will not let you take me off guard. I was talking about playing active players. Right now, none of them have that experience. None of them have had that taste of the first edition.
In the air again, up and over the field at covers. A lot of work to be done by Gisette Ishimwe. And they're all settled for 2 runs. Esther Sande gets off the mark. Normally she had the very first time Peter, Nigeria, the female yellow greens beat Uganda, she had opened scoring a half century, but this time round they promoted Adekule Shola, but it didn't work. I spoke about how it didn't work in their favor. It's not a team that bats very deeper, is the female yellow greens.
A lot of rotation have been done to the female yellow green side in terms of batting order and bowling order. We saw 2 debutants bowl yesterday, the likes of Henriette.
Full again, angling into the pads, works it on the onside, should be looking for the second run out chance. And they are well in, are these 2, Esther Sandy and Christabel Chukwonye.
Beautiful end to the 8 over, I would say. 39-4-5. Not yet into the halfway point of this game, but already halfway into the batting order of the female yellow greens.
39 for 5 after 8 overs. I'll tell you, I think, or two, given that these are the pair out there in the middle in Esther Sandy and Christabel Chukwonye. The next recognized batter will be Sarah Etim, the wicketkeeper batter. So should be these two to try and see if they can carry the female Yellow Greens to anything closer to that 80 plus runs or even more.
80 plus against this very active Rwandan side. They've got, the youngest player to score a T20 century still in the team. It is going to be difficult to keep this Rwandan side under 80 or even under 120. If there's anything that female Yellow Greens need to do, is to try and put more runs on the board as we get into the halfway point of this game.
Not the best of communications there from Esther Sandy and Christabel. You've got to be very, very careful. You can't afford to give away a wicket at this particular phase of the game. They have a deep extra cover. Third man, long on and deep mid-wicket. In the air this time round. There's no fielder in the slips as they keep the scoreboard ticking at these two.
Esther Sandy has come in to restore stability to the female Yellow Greens. They've not really had that much of a confidence on experience since this game started. 3 quick wickets fell. Adekunle Shola couldn't hold the nerves, having been rushed into the top order. And Esther Sandy has come in and provided stability and quick feet with Chukunoye Christabel.
And the midfielder has started for Team Rwanda there in the deep, allowing these two to scamper for 2 runs. A lovely shot there from Christabel Chukwonye. Very, very positive approach. We haven't seen, of course, the likes of Alice Ikuze, who was very, very key with her variations on the game against the South African 19s. Lovely shot again from Christabel, putting on a show of her own, a diving effort in vain, paying the price at the Rwandans at the moment. Not sure why they don't have a fielder at long off, as Christabel picks up a very good boundary. Lovely cover drive. Look at that again, full, using the full face, piercing the gap between covers and mid-off for a very lovely shot.
That boundary has made the Rwanda side now want to adjust their field setting. They've been keeping it compact, trying to curb on the singles. That has worked so far, but Chukunoye and Esther Sandy have kept every ball on the ground and piercing the gaps.
When you look at the way she's been batting in the last couple of years, is the young Christabel Chukwonye and Esther Sandy. They love pace on. As we see the adjustment in the field, the long off has been sent to the boundary ropes. They bring in deep extra cover again. I would love to see the captain thinking outside the box and bring the likes of Shimumana or even Alice Ikuzwe to turn down the music to the female Yellow Greens into the deep, looking for the second, but her partner Esther Sandy wasn't the quickest. 9 runs coming off the second over of Henriette Ishimwe without any risky shot. Edging closer to that 50 run mark is the female Yellow Greens, having lost 5 wickets. Pace on and punished again into the vacant deep extra cover region for yet another boundary. And 50 comes up, of course, with that lovely squat driven shot from Esther Sandy, with offered on the occasion, allowing her to free her arms. They just removed that fielder in the deep, and she's made sure she capitalizes on that as we come to the end of the 9th over. It's 51 for 5. These two are moving slowly and steady.
There's that 4 again, nowhere near the stumps, and Esther Sandy picked it off the first bounce, pierced the gap, and the boundary eagles much near boundary for the female Yellow Greens, Bob.
When you look at that last over, that's to me a suicidal over from the Rwandans, given that you can't be bowling, offering with without a fielder in the deep extra cover. Again, no spin, no Alice Ikuzwe as the captain comes back to bowl from the pavilion end. 51 for 5. Again, you can tell they are a bit relaxed, the Rwandans. We saw yesterday I beg your pardon, the other day before the rest day, the female yellow greens bowling out the Ghanaians to just 28 runs. As their coach normally says, if you are going for the kill, make sure you go for the kill.
Nigeria are a much more better bowling side than they are with the bat. And in overtime, it has remained the same. But they've been improving in the batting. But the bowling has always been a very strong point. And that's why we cannot draw conclusions off here this first inning, knowing just how good the Nigerians are with the ball. But we're still not undermining the efficiency of the batting order of the Rwandan side.
To complement what you're saying, they have the likes of Lilian Ude, who's back into the side. She has good figures of 6 for 7 the last time they played Rwanda in the Kwibuka tournament. So you got to be very careful. If anything close to 100, we have a game on our cards here, Peter. Full again, well driven, straight to the fielder. The running has been spot on from these two, Esther Sandy and Christabel. They're not trying, of course, to take on the fielders in the inner ring. Having, of course, hit the ball straight to the fielder, they managed to scamper for a quick run.
Yeah, that's why when you have batters in the field, understanding how the game works. Adekunle Shola sending that quite early, I wouldn't say it was a terrible idea. It was a tactical approach, probably to calm the nerves and allow Esther Sandy see the game from the outside. But regardless, that is another wicket loss. Regardless of the tactics, Esther Sandy is there now. It just remains to see how long she can stay and build a partnership with Christabel, because both right now have scored 18 runs for the team with their bat.
The partnership building slowly and steady for the female yellow greens in the air. This time Rwanda, the bowler herself calls for it as she picks up a big wicket of Christabel Chukwuonye. Full toss on that occasion, trying to heave it on the onside, but could only take the top edge.
It was Fu and Christabel wanting to go to the leg side, went below that ball and just put the ball in the arms of the captain herself. There was no way Marie was dropping that. It was there for the taking, and take she did.
And of course, with that catch, the umpires have decided that the teams will be having a drinks break. 53 for 6 after 9.4. Do enjoy some of the highlights, of course, and the wickets as we take a short break. We'll be back shortly.
We went for the drinks break quite early, just 2 balls shy of the halfway point of this evening, as Christopher Chukwunoye had to go out after losing that wicket, caught on board by the captain herself, Bimeimana Meridiani. Leg side pitch was that ball, and he get one off it. One more run for the female Yellow Greens. Already 6 wickets, 4 more wickets to go. Almost into the tail end batting order. Sarah 18 is the batter pairing with Esther Sandy. 2 batters from the same region representing their state, Akwa Ibom. Played several matches together in the senior team and as well as domestically. Both been saddled with the mantle of increasing the runs already on the board for the female Yellow Greens. It's the end of the 10th over, midway point of this game. That is 54 for 6. And the bowling chart, you see Belize with 3 overs completed and taking 2 wickets. Rosin has a wicket to her name, and we had a wicket. Ambimeimana Meridiani, 2 wickets as well. Every bowler has picked up wickets one way or the other, with the best bowling figure being that of the captain and an economy of 3.00.
Very good collective performance from the 4 bowlers so far that have been used for the Rwandans. As we see the introduction of Alice Ikuzwe, expect to see, of course, a lot of variations coming in from the Court of Appeal end. Let's have a look at her field set. She has a short third man, long on, deep extra cover, and a deep mid wicket. Well driven down the ground by the wicketkeeper batter, Team Sarah. She's been looking for a big score in the last couple of years. Is a Team Sarah. Can this be the moment for one of the experienced players in the side? But again, when you look at this field, given that the short third man is inside the ring and the short fine leg, she won't be bowling pacer. Straight to the fielder that covers the captain, who's done a tremendous job in her 2 overs, picking up 2 with an economy of 3 runs. Interestingly, she came in this tournament as a batter, but of course, it's that skill that she has and possesses of being a very good all-rounder for her side. She's picked up so far 7 wickets in the tournament. Full again, well driven, but there's a fielder in the deep at long on. Bowling to her field is Alice Ikuzwe. She won them the game against South Africa under 19s with that penultimate over, of course, that went for only 1 run and a wicket. They bring in the fielder from long off inside the ring for Sarah Etim. In the air this time round, chips in a dive. What a catch! Leading from the front from the captain, Diani Menyimana, as they pick up their 7th wicket. Alice Ikuzwe into the attack, and she's picked up the wicket over Team Sarah.
Not the proper contact points between bat and ball, as every time they've tried to go big, they've played the ball into the arms of a waiting fielder. That dive was a magnificent one. Went all out, and very much needed a wicket. They've broken the partnership already into the tail end. Peace Hussein, a very wonderful spinner, already was topping the bowling chart on economy. 2 wickets from Bimeimana Sizago, 2 wickets more than Peace Hussein on the bowling chart. Now it remains to see if Peace can help the team, or we get a taste of our own medicine. She's very used to getting wickets. It is our turn now to keep a wicket.
I'll tell you, I don't remember the last time I saw Peace Hussein saving her side. She joins Esther Sandy when the female Yellow Greens are in all sorts of bother at the moment, having lost 7 wickets for just 56 runs and moving at 5.2 runs and over. Should be a good wake-up call here for the female Yellow Greens who are yet to be tested there until today. by the Rwandans.
Hussein Peace hasn't really had that much of a batting figure, with a highest coming against Kenya in the African Women's World Cup qualifiers, getting just 3 runs off 2 balls. She's not really been magnificent, scoring 2 runs in 2 previous matches that she's played before that. And now they've got only Lilian Ude and Anointed Akigbe. Lilian Ude is more capable with the bat, but already in the tail end, it is going to be difficult to see how they play out the rest of this over. Look at that wicket again. That late turn from the ball, meeting the bats before the batters swing, and the wickets that the Rwandan side we greatly appreciate.
Very good bowling again. When you look at the first wicket of Alice Ikuza, the 7th for the female Yellow Greens, she bowled it away. That leg cutter, she didn't get to the reach of the ball. Is Sarah Etima allowing the bottom hand to come into play? But what a take from Diane Mimenyimana, who's having some treatment from the physio. Match day 4, game 8. The host nation taking on Team Rwanda, who are yet to lose a game. Both sides, of course. They won the toss earlier on, but it looks like it's the only thing they won inside the 10.4 overs, having lost 7 wickets. Peace Hussein, you just mentioned some stats. Her highest score being 3. She would love to multiply that highest score with 100. Of course, if they are to put on a commendable total. Of course, as we see the captain being back on her feet, we are good to go, says the umpires. 2 more deliveries to come from Alice Ikuze, who's been very, very tidy, giving away only 2 and picking up a wicket over Sarah Etima.
A lot of work and a lot of responsibility on the shoulders of Peace Hussein. This time, it is not with the ball, but with the bat. Remains to see if she is up to the task. She hasn't batted in a long time. Last bat activity was on the 4th of September against the Kenya women. Quick start, quick movement from the 2 batters. Recognize the strength and put that ball just before defensive stroke. And quick feet, 1 more run. Peace Hussein gets herself off strike for now.
Risky but effective, you would say there from Peace Hussein, but you can tell the idea was spot on, trying to get Esther Sandy, who is the only recognized batter out there in the middle, to take charge of the bowling attack of Alice Ikuze and the bowling attack, of course, of the Rwandans. Full on that occasion, lovely shot again. That single, of course, from Peace Hussein brings Esther Sandy to get her team a boundary, much near a boundary.
With great expectations comes great responsibility. No other capable batters in that crease, and Esther Sandy is saddled with that responsibility of putting a competitive total for the female Yellow Greens. It is a long way to go, see 3 wickets in hand, and what Peace Hussein has to do is try and bring Esther Sandy on strike as frequently as possible.
Diane Mimenyimana will be bowling her 3rd from the pavilion end. Let's have a look at the field of the Rwandans. Given that Peace Hussein, it is loud and clear that she will be looking for that single. There is no sleeping play for her. They would love to have an attacking field for her. There is a 3rd man. Interestingly, she's the only fielder outside the ring. But again, given the way that Diane Mimenyimana has been getting that lateral, moving the outside, the outswingers from the right-handers, anything that she touches, Apish Run out chance. Direct hit. Oh, nearly hits the bullseye is Ishimwe Giselle.
Peace is in effectively getting herself all strike. Not the shot she wanted to, but in experience, you can understand why a knee upset get all strike. The bowling of Bimayimana Marie Diane is more effective against tail end batters because it is always swinging in, and they do not have that much of an understanding as to how that ball works from a batting perspective.
Well, again, when you look at that single, interestingly, you'd ask yourself, why was Giselle Ishimwe standing on the outside edge, but there's protection in the deep. You'd ask yourself, why was Giselle Ishimwe standing on the 30-yard circle, given that Peace Hussein doesn't possess that power?
Probably for situations like that, I hope she did forget herself at that 30-yard circle. But right now, it is another chance at a wicket for Bimayimana Marie Diane. And Peace is not having it. She understands that she is there to solicit and complement whatever Esther Sandy does. And the best way to do that is bringing Esther on strike as frequently as possible.
It's not an easy task, of course, batting with the tailor. Esther Sandy, who is on 15 of 12. She's got to be very, very careful this time round. No run taken. Very good fielding from Giselle Ishimwe. Full on the occasion from the captain. I love the fact that now she's gone fuller to try and see if she can bring in the LB into play. 11.4, 63 for 7 as I will come, Mr. Endurance, back in the commentary box. You've been watching a lot of action from the side.
Thank you, Bob. I'll say if you're a Nigerian, this is quite a disappointing score. 7 wickets lost, not where you want to be. Maybe if it was just 3 wickets, then it would have been an interesting show here. But it looks like the Rwandans have dominated proceedings. Those 7 crucial wickets, Hussein Peace now and Esther Sandy. Pressure everywhere now. I think the Rwandans have really shown class act here fielding today. Unlike the game against South Africa, they've been quick on their toes and fast on the field. And that ends the 12th over. It's 63 for 7.
Those are the partnerships so far. The biggest, of course, being the one of Christabel Chukwuonye and Esther Sandy of 18 of 13. It tells you the whole story of that scorecard of 63 for 7. 13 extras being bowled by the Rwandans in their 12 overs. Fanny Utagushima-Ninde, who is no longer keeping the wickets, giving the gloves to her senior wicketkeeper batter, Uwase Merveille. Alice Ikuzwe comes in to bowl her second. Lovely shot again from Esther Sandy. Should be an easy double here. Every time she's scored in that particular region, she's managed to pick up a boundary or even a double. Something they need to readjust, given that deep extra cover is a little bit wideish. You might think there's a point and a deep pointer at the Rwandans. Very big gap. I believe even you who have retired 10 years ago, you can get that boundary.
Brilliant shot. This time found the gaps there. Will it be a couple? Yes, they will get 2. It looks quite easy. Bob, my feet are not so quick any longer. Maybe I will start from the over 40s games, the Quebecer. Hopefully I can get a couple of runs and play myself back into reckoning.
We should see you joining, of course, the 4 o'clock club. Very good batting, you'd say there. Toying with the field is Esther Sandy. Change of pace again. Up. Drop short at the fielder in the deep. Umtoni was a Clarice. Should have been an easy catch. She was caught in 2 minds. Allowing, of course, the ball to drop short. Let's have a look at that again. Flighted delivery there. Ooh.
At times, yeah, it might be just misjudgment there. But you could see the hunger level of these Rwandans today. The charge This game is supposed to be that blockbuster, but who knows? Maybe 90, 100 runs could make a game out of it. This is late rally by Peace Hussein and Esther Sandy. Esther Sandy used to bat in the top order, so I'm not surprised she's still getting the skill set to keep the Nigerian side in this game. Current run rate 5.3. It's good to see Hussein Peace holding our own end, just ensuring Esther gets a partner to have a decent total.
She's playing a handy knock. She's on 2 off 8, but I'll tell you those 2 runs in 8 deliveries have allowed the female yellow greens to pick up 14 runs courtesy of Esther Sandy. 68 for 7 after 13. They will have to think outside the box at the Rwandans to see if they can get that wicket of Peace Hussein. She can't cause trouble. Talking about the 90 runs, anything above 90, I tell you, given that in the cricketing world, it's never easy chasing those low targets. Should be having a cracker of a game. The captain introduces the young Shimimwana Rosette, at number 98. Most spin coming in from the pavilion end. Picked up 3 wickets on her first game. She has a deep square leg, deep mid wicket for Esther Sandy, and long on, long off. Not deep extra cover, interestingly. She will love to make sure that she bowls to her field. Anything that pierces the 2 fielders at point and covers will be a boundary with ease. So far, she's scored 3 boundaries. A deep extra cover is Esther Sandy. Rocks back on the back foot, beats at the outside edge. Straight run out chance. These 2 communicating on different networks, MTN and Telecom, as Peace Hussein has to depart.
Disappointing here again, disappointing. Just when we thought that partnership was going through, they're straight to the fielder. Was unnecessary. Peace just taking off there. So we say they crashed on.
Spoke about ND, how the Rwandans have to think outside the box. The young Peace Hussein forgetting her role, the role she was playing, as she has to depart. 8 wickets down inside 13.1. Played it on the back foot straight to the fielder, who did no mistake. Chipped in an easy throw and very effectively done by Shimimwana Rosette. 8 wickets down, 68. Lilian Ude is the new batter in. She's still on strike, is Esther Sandy. Should love to get a couple of boundaries. Straight again to covers, run out chance again. Direct it. And the umpire says that she was well in. And of course the ball ricochets it, allowing these 2 to pick up a quick single. Again, was that needed?
I need to ask Leonard what he must have said to his team after that game against South Africa, because the fielding today, we've seen them throw everything at it. And trust me, that direct hit, I mean, if she was just an inch outside, it was a wicket. But so far, I think it's been good for Rwandans, and they must be excited and happy with themselves. And coach, what next? Hope you won't be talking about batting today, because they've shown class act, and the Nigerians have struggled today, but it is what it is when the runs are on the board. It's Lilian Ude, Nigerian pace bowler, who is now doing the job of a batter.
She's not rabbit with bat in hand, is Lilian Ude. She has cleared a couple of boundaries and maximums into the block hole again from Shimimwana Rosette. Not giving her any room whatsoever to free her arms. They will love, of course, the female yellow greens to see her bring out those long levers. Every single round matters moving forward. Wide-ish delivery there from Shimimwana Rosette as they pick up yet another single. We come to the end of the 14th. Scoreboard reading 70 for 8. Alice Ikuze will continue from the Court of Appeal end. The endurance here, the assignment should be very, very easy for the female yellow greens. If they can play out their 20 overs, even 100 is still possible. There's a long off, deep extra cover, long on, and a deep mid-wicket for Alice Ikuzwe up against Lilian Ude. Change of pace straight away. Expect to see a lot of cutters in this particular over from Alice Ikuzwe.
I like the intention there by Lilian Ude. It's just shaping up, showing us, yeah, I'm being held back here. I would love to go. But it would be nice to see her if she can. 6 overs, 5.6 left.
Wax it on the onside, looking for the second. They're running very hard, but Giselle Ishimwe, she won't give you that opportunity.
Bob, one thing I can guarantee is that no matter what the score is today, we're going to have a good game in our hands.
It's the rivalry between these two sides. Should, of course, love to target that gap again between long off and deep extra cover. Cut away powerfully straight to the field at covers. The running has been spot on, despite, of course, losing a couple in run outs. They keep the scoreboard ticking at the female yellow greens.
Disappointing. Lilian Ude would depart.
Told you it's the variation she possesses. Is Alice Ikuzo deceiving Lilian Ude, who has to take the long way back to the dugout? I'm not sure why she's shaking her head.
Disappointed, perhaps. Disappointed. I think that's clearly. But again, if I'm looking at the score, there again, on the replay, this was dead on, playing across that totally. I was going to hit. I'm sure when she sees that again, she will be disappointed. 72 from 14.4 overs. Good enough, but no wickets in hand to do the big job later on in the innings.
Coming back to you, you are out there in the middle with the two captains, of course. As we look at that last wicket, I'm not sure she would love, as we just said, to see her wicket. You are out there in the middle. Do you think this was a good toss to win?
Well, I think
siding, of course, to bat first.
I mean, clearly, if you, I think the Rwandans have just been good at what they're doing today, you know. So everything is working out for them. So it could have been anybody. If you're both first and you don't bowl well, the team that bats better wins today. Clearly, I think both teams have the required bowling units to bowl against any side. It's just been Nigeria in all sorts of trouble, and that brings us to the end of the 15th over. It's 72 for the loss of 9 wickets.
Interesting move as we see the captain replacing Ashimamana Rosette after only bowling 1 over. Should love to see if she can clean up the last wicket, of course. Third man is inside the ring as she's been sent. Expect to see her bowling pace on and full and straight is Dianmi Menyimana. She has a deep mid-wicket long on. Not deep extra cover, but they have a long off fielder in play. Those are the only boundary riders. Fine leg inside the ring, gonna be spot on. Covering all the stumps is Esther Sandy. Apish drop short at the field that covers Mutoni Wase Clarissa.
I think I would just expect Hector Sandy to take on the bowlers. Just get as much as you can quickly. You don't want to just hang in there and not give it a fight. 22 of 20 deliveries can become 35 of 30.
Stand and deliver, they say, endurance. Swing and a miss. They've been practicing. We've been watching them in the data. They've been trying out the power hitting. This is exactly where they want her to replicate that.
I agree 100% with you. Deanne, I like her fancy glasses. She's loving it.
Should be looking for the double. Can they take on the arm of Shimga Riete, who's not had the best of tournament so far? Easy two from Esther Sandy and Anointed.
There's a bit of fashion in women's cricket. I love the shades here. In the air, is it safe? Yes, it is. And 2 runs. They're running everything hard now. Very impressive here. We spoke about it. It might just be those last set of runs that will become important, because you can't write off these Nigerian bowlers. We can guarantee you, Rwanda will have to decide if they will bat and chase this in quick overs, or they will bat through. Brilliant fielding. This is risks. But again, I would say, is it calculated risks? Because you've got 1 ball left. Maybe Anointed, we just have to see this over through, and then Esther again takes advantage on the other side.
This is really smart batting from Esther Sandy. That 27 so far can be the difference in this game. Full on that occasion. Lovely batting from Anointed. As we come to the end of the 16th, 77 for 9. We saw in the first game, of course, the South African under-19s, Danieli Boshoff and Mia Loro, they contributed to make sure they got to that 145, and it was the difference, given that they won by 28 runs against the Zimbabwe under-19s.
That's the batting scorecard for you. Only Amusa 11 of 23 and Esther Sandy 27 of 24 are key contributors here. Extra, the next highest total, 13. And it's 77 for 9 after 16 overs. 4 overs left in this innings. Will Esther Sandy hold sway and give Nigeria a decent total to defend? Only time will tell, but at the moment, that lady, jersey number 10, Belise Murekatete, is the one that will continue from the Court of Appeal end.
Belise Murekatete, shot number 10, is being brought back into the attack. She has a 3rd man in play, deep extra cover, and a long on into the block, or straight away, walks it on the onside. There should be an easy double here for these two. Pace on, and Esther Sandy loves pace on. She would love to capitalize, especially in this over of Belise Murekatete, who's been very expensive in her first spell.
I would love to see Sandy bat through the 20 overs and see what becomes an interesting total and a game in our hands.
Interesting field set here, given that she will be targeting to ball into the block, or the fine leg is inside the ring. Full and walks it on the onside. There's protection in the deeper. They keep the scoreboard ticking.
It's real test for Anointed. What will she be doing? Will she score or try to just keep her wicket? This is where Sandy will hope that she can hold on tight for her. And she's moved on to 30 from 26. Esther Sandy playing a very valuable and important innings here for Nigeria. Maybe this is that game for her to show her qualities.
Wise on offer there from Belize Brekatete. Anointed, with no surprise, of course, she will be opening the bowling. She's been given the test of her own medicine, but Belize Brekatete, the Rwandans would love to see her pitch it up full and straight and see if she can pick up the last wicket. Another dot ball there from Belize Mrekatete. Very good contribution, you would say, there from Esther Sandy. That 30, when you remove that 30, that's 51 from the rest of the batters. Should be a sign of worry given that the semi-finals are around the corner.
Well, that's why she's on the Nigerian side. Big shout, big question. Umpire not interested. Anointed, still yet to get on the mark. First 5 deliveries here. 16.4 overs bowled. A real test here and character for these two to be able to take Nigeria all the way to the 20th over. And perhaps, even if it's 5 and over, it would have been 100 plus on the board. She swings big. I wonder what she's trying to do, score big.
I'll tell you, Endurance, I don't think the Nigerians want Anointed to get off the mark. They just want her to stay out there.
As a Nigerian, I agree with you, Bob.
I thought you're not Nigerian, Mr. Endurance. Last ball to come from Belize Mrekatete. Artfully played there again from Akibe Anointed. I'm not sure why she was trying to take that single.
Esther was just not interested. Esther was not interested.
81 for 9 after 17.
We hope we can see out the 3 overs. But I mean, Sandy, it's a partnership again for you. 17 between Adekunle Shola and Amusa. And 17 of 18 deliveries, and another 18 between Christabel and Esther Sandy. Now Ocean Peace and Esther Sandy 12. Esther Sandy is just stuck in there for some time now, hoping to find another partnership with Anointed. 9 so far of 14 deliveries.
Alice Ikuzwe is back into the attack. She's picked up 2 wickets. She has a deep mid-wicket, long on, deep extra cover and long off.
Brilliant shot through the covers. Will it be a double? No. Single. She wants a second one. No easy call. Disappointed. Esther Sandy looks at Anointed and say, "What are you doing?"
Easy batting with the tail, Andy.
Yeah, true that. Very, very disappointed. I was like, what do you want to do?
She's living with herself, is Esther Sandy. Of course, given that Anointed is now on strike and they bring in the field, long on, long off comes into the 30-yard. The loud appeal on the occasion. The umpire says not out. Very interesting appeal there from the wicketkeeper and the bowler herself.
Watch it again on your screen. Delivered a decent length. Alice Kize. Esther Sandy will be biting her hands. That's it. That's how important partnerships are. That's how important your skill set must be, because when you bat against the talent, you have to dictate the pace of the game. Brilliant shot, straight to the fielder, run out opportunity. No, she's in. Esther happy this time. Anointed eventually got a single after 10 deliveries.
Given that now, with that single, of course, 2 deliveries to come, is she gonna go bigger, or she will make sure she look for that single? One way to find out.
Those playing days, we used to say you find a boundary and look for a single. That's 5 and over.
And of course, they have set back the boundary riders at long off and long on. What are the options? Should love to clear that deep extra cover. Lovely shot again from Esther Sunday. She'll have to survive. The last ball is Anointed Akibe. But these two are putting on a show. Moving slowly and steady, trying to get to that 90, as you mentioned earlier.
Bob, I told you, whatever happens here today, we have a good game in our hands. It's just not going to be a walk in the park for both sides. And they've come a long way. In the last 6 years, they must have played themselves more than 10, 15 times in both tournaments, the Quebecer and the Nigerian Invitationals. Both teams have won this tournament before. That's it. And that brings us to the end of the 18th over. It is 84 for the loss of 9 wickets. It's good to see Esther Sanders' character, knowing how important every run from this moment is. The Nigerian team cheering, warming up already. They can't wait. The excitement is there. They know how important this is. And the strength and conditioning coach, Sheye Olympio, taking the bowlers on, preparing them, knowing that what matters here is the bowling that will determine if we win this game or not. Interesting moment here with the backroom staff. We have plenty of young men behind the production team here. It's a nice little place to be. That man, Abayomi Ayanusi. And we got a nice guy here who had lunch 4 times today. His name is Timilein, behind cameras at the moment. Somewhere, perhaps. And some excitement here. We're into the 19th over. So 1 for 17, Henriette. She goes big, straight to the fielder. No is a call, confusion in there. You have to watch it this time, Esther Sandy. You have to be careful now.
Full and straight, put down by the captain. That was hit powerfully. Butterfingers from Diarmi Menyumana. She took a screamer earlier on.
Hey, to make up for 2 days ago. Shot this time over mid wicket. Will they get a second? Yes, is the call. She wants it. Extra is running hard. The ball is thrown to the non-striker's end. And yes, this is the moment we spoke about. I beg your pardon, it was Anointed. Now she's beginning to see and contribute. And you know, these are moments where you always think in the air, just over the bowler. This time everything counts and it will be a single. Every moment now is important in the course of play. I'll tell you, Esther standing down back on strike with 3 balls left in the 19th over. You don't jinx it. And everyone back home, if you're watching the 5th edition of the Nigerian Women's Invitational Tournament here in Lagos, the commercial center of Nigeria, it's Henriette to Esther Sandy. Yeah, looking to dab it and then get a single. Interesting. Hit through the covers this time. They want a second. Yes, are they getting it? Brilliant running between the wicket. This is quite sloppy. Rwanda, we have to be very careful here. You know it. You have to be extremely careful. Anything can happen. 90s. Real cause for concern. But that one kept it hard low. Yes.
Done and dusted with the penultimate over into the last 6 deliveries of match day 4, game 8. 91 runs on board for the loss of 9. Esther Sandy, on the other hand, who is on 34 of 30. She's blown some gas running between the wickets. As we mentioned earlier, of course, if the female Yellow Greens are yet to get another win and stay unbeaten, she would have played a crucial role, is Esther Sandy. Interesting to see who's going to bowl the last over. Irela Rosine, on the other hand, she still has one more over to come. You can see they've been penalized for slow over rate at the Rwandans, meaning they will only have 3 fielders outside the ring in the last 6 deliveries. Captain Diane will be bowling the last over of the first innings of match day 4, game 8. The female Yellow Greens are taking on Team Rwanda. Both sides, of course, yet to lose a game in this 5th edition.
I would like to know what glasses that is. Is that a recommended? Yeah, there you go. And she's finished her 4 overs.
Rosine Irera will be bowling the last 6 deliveries. Diane Menyimana, who finished her spell, went for 13 runs, picking up 2 wickets. Laura appeared on the occasion, and she's done the job for her side. Took her only 1 ball is the young Rosine Irera, as the female Yellow Greens have been bowled out inside 19.1 for just 90 runs. Let's have a look at the last wicket, of course, from the young Rosine Irera, who bowled 3 overs on the trot. Plumb easy decisions for the umpire, Temitope Onikoyi. They won the toss, decided to have a bat first at the female Yellow Greens, and they could only manage to get 90 runs inside 19.1 overs. That's the batting chart, of course. Nothing much from the top order batters of the female Yellow Greens. A little bit of a contribution there from Kehinde Amusa, 11 of 23. The rest is like a telephone number. Apart from that, 36 from Esther Sandy, knocked out, playing a very, very crucial role to make sure the team gets to that 90 runs. The bowling chart led by Berizime Katete, picking up 2 wickets in the power play. Very expensive, went for 24. And of course, Bimenyimana Diane and Alice Ikuze, 2 wickets apiece, and a wicket apiece for Arieta Teresa Ishimwe and Rosine, who just picked up her 2nd. 14 extras bowled. That's the match summary. 36 from 31, 11 from 23, and 9 from 7. Do not go anywhere. Do enjoy some of the highlights. We'll be back shortly as Team Rwanda will need 91 runs in their allotted 20 overs. Good afternoon and welcome to match 8, day 4, Nigeria Cricket Federation Women's T20 Invitational Tournament. It's a battle of two teams that are yet to taste a defeat. But like we always say, something has to give. Who blinks first? This is a rivalry that has dated back to 2015, back then at the Moshood Abiola Cricket Stadium, the Package B, where Nigeria took on Rwanda in a bilateral series, 5-match bilateral series. Fast track to this day, the rivalry has been intense. Nigeria batted first, scored 90 runs all out in 19.1 overs. Esther Sandy, top batter, 36 runs off 31 balls. Player of the year for 2025, Amusa Kehinde Muibat, 11 runs from 23 balls. And Christabel Chukwuonye, who did well with the bat against Ghana, could only score 9 runs from 7 balls faced. For the bowling scorecard, best bowler for Team Rwanda had to be the captain, Bimeimana Maridiane, 2 wickets for 13 runs in 4 overs. Rosine Herrera also got 2 wickets for 11 runs in 3.1 overs. And Belize Murikatete, 2 wickets for 24 runs in 4 overs. As it stands, Bimeimana Maridiane is leading the bowling chart with 8 wickets, 2 ahead of Peace Usen, who won player of the match in both games against Ghana and Zimbabwe under-19 team. But the only difference is that Diane has played a game more than Peace Usen. Great to be here. My name is Oluwaseun Ajilagba. Super excited to be here with my colleague, Peter Oladosu.
Great to have you in the comms box, Seun Ajidagba. It's a beautiful game, it's a beautiful day for a game. These are two sides that we are very, very familiar with. Nigeria having to now defend 90 runs. Rwanda needing 91 runs all for 120 balls. The lowest defended score between these two prior today was Rwanda against Nigeria. Rwanda scored 100 and got Nigeria all out for 61 in the second inning. Since then, teams have had to do better to be able to defend the runs they've had on the board. It remains to see if this was enough, this performance by Esther Sandy was enough to help the female Yellow Green secure a victory today.
One of the finest bowlers in Africa, Lilian Ude, back from examination at the university in Port Harcourt where she's studying human physiology, is facing a lady who broke a record on Friday, 15 years and 223 days. Fanny Utagushi Maninde, batting alongside Giselle Ishimwe. And after bowling 2 good balls, white ball was delivered by Lilian Ude. The brief is simple. Ensure that your opponent don't score 90 runs. No task is unachievable, but let's see how it all pans out. Another swing and a miss for Fanny. And from the non-striker end, Giselle Ishimwe talking to her, telling her, just dab. And let me come and show you how to do it, probably.
Usually you do see things when they are bowling this fine, calm and relaxed, and it's the batters that have to worry going forward. But with these runs required, Rwanda only have run on the board, needing 90 more, and yet it's still less runs needed than balls remaining. So all the tension currently still sits very much on the Nigerian side.
You can say that again, but bowling from the Court of Appeal end is that lady who made history when she delivered Nigeria against the New Zealander in the game against a team that got to the semi-final of the inaugural edition of the Under-19 World Cup. And of course, finally, Fanny is not fanning, but dots the ball, dots, and eventually nicks one to allow Gigel Ishimwe, a proven batter, not only for Team Rwanda, but in Africa, one of the finest batters, to come have a feel of what Lilian Ude is doing.
You can tell that Lilian Ude, being the opening bowler of the side, she was not around and Peace took up the mantle. So we do very much expect Peace Hussein to come from the pavilion end to bowl the second over. But for now, Lilian has done a very fantastic job in the first over.
The first over gone. 2 runs on board, no wicket loss. They require 89 runs in 114 balls. The current run rate is 2.00. What is required is 4.58. And big shout out to the 2 on-field umpires. Umpire Nomsa Siolise Diam from South Africa, and Temitope Onikoyi Jabbar from Nigeria. We are into the second over, and Peace Hussein has been entrusted with the ball.
She came in at the tail end of the game in the first inning. Did the bit she could with the level of experience she has as regards to batting, and had to leave Anointed Akigbe and Esther Sani to play out the game into the final overs. And now she's got the ball, and the law is expected. Already, she's picked up 3 wickets in 2 consecutive matches. It remains to see if she adds to that tally and ties up with Bimeimana Marine Diani on top of the bowling chart, or Rwanda might end up having the last lap. There's still a lot of balls to play. Still have a very long way to go. But right now, there's very little tension on the Rwandan bench.
It was not the best possible start for her. Her first ball was a wide, but eventually the second ball delivered was a dot. Yesterday was rest day where the players had to come give back. But in the game against Ghana, she gave away just 9 runs from the 3 wickets that she got, which is much better than what we saw against the Zimbabwean under-19 cricket team, where she also won the player of the match by giving away 16 runs in that allotted 4 overs of ours, and then claiming 3 wickets.
A little bit of field rotation there by the female yellow greens, moving Lilian Ude from point all the way to mid-off. Only 2 fielders put in at the deep. It is a long on and deep mid-wicket. Well, beautifully lofted shot over the infield. Kende and Musan give a very big chase to stop that ball close to the ropes and prevent any boundary from actualizing. Good one from the female yellow greens. They will fight this game to the very end.
We have to say, Peter, that this is a sharp contrast to what we see of Peace. Again, she's young, she's gathering experience, but the fact that the runs on board is not so much can also bring some additional pressure to you, especially when you have batters like Gigel and Fanny.
Yes, we've seen how compact Fanny is with the bat and always thinking about the next ball. She's not always rushing into attack. She selects her shot And when you are in situations where you have more runs, less runs than balls available, it is very difficult to get wickets in those kind of situations because batters will not attack unnecessarily. They will defend any ball that they do not deem fit until it is quite difficult.
Wherever you are watching us from, that is the completion of the second over. And after 2 overs, 6 runs for no loss, Gijel Ishimwe has faced 5 balls and scored 2 runs. Fanny Utagushinaninde has faced 7 balls and scored 2 runs. So it's combined 12 runs faced in between them, and the 4 runs is what the 2 of them have been able to gather. They need 85 runs in 108 balls. You still want to say the ascendancy is still with the batting side, except something changes. Over to you now as we begin the 3rd over, and coming from that end, the Court of Appeal end, is Lilian Ude, who gave away just 2 runs in her first over.
Aggressive bowling from Lilian Ude. Pace did very well in stopping that ball from traveling any further, but was still within the chance of Rwanda to take a run off that ball. Good attack from Lilian Ude. Very good shot on good pitch. But the runs are still taken down for the Rwandan batters.
Ladies and gentlemen, and she strikes, and the wicket of Gijel Ishimwe is gone. The first wicket for today in the 3rd over. See that beauty on replay, Lilian Ude.
Experience Fanny expecting a much straight out ball. That late swing, Giselle expecting a straight out ball. That swing off that ball to the wicket by Lilian Ude tells you she knew exactly what she was expecting, and she had a counter plan, a counter attack for that ball, and she can, and the rest of the Nigerian team can bring a sign of relief. And look at that action from the pitch to the play. It wasn't in the region that Giselle was expecting to play it, and Nigeria can finally relax a little bit. And now the new batter coming in will have to play a much more temperamental game.
And the captain steps in. She will want to play captain's innings. In the previous game, before the legacy program yesterday, it was a bad day at the office with a bat against the South African under-19 cricket team, where she lost her wicket through an LBW, but fought back like a Trojan that she is to pick the ball in the final over of that game, more importantly against the captain of the under-19 team of South Africa, Mika van Vorst, who was in rampaging form, and she ensured that she brought the game home. Can she do that again? Lilian Ude versus Bime Imana.
Lilian is still, regardless of the pressure, Lilian is still one of the most essential and important bowler, not just in Nigerian cricket, but African cricket, associate cricket as a whole. She has been very rewarding in terms of getting that team and coming clutch for that team when they need be. And she has started off doing great.
Sometimes you have to say some players love to play against certain teams, and one of such is Lilian Ude, one of our best bowling figures. 6 wickets for 7 runs in 4 overs against this same team, Rwanda. She's already struck. Can she do another one? Time will tell.
Now the runs have actually really slowed down for the Rwandan side. They've been batting at 3 runs per over, 1 run so far, and it's 5 balls bowled. Bimeimana hasn't really found a tick in this tournament and is yet to register a run on the board after 3 balls faced.
The hand goes up for the second time. Back-to-back games. LBW to Bimeimana. And you can see the way she's walking down, looking so gutted. Let's see that again on replay.
That long pitch, that full yoke length was an impossible point for Bimeimana to cope with. She's really struggled with playing balls on full at length, and that is the repercussion. Lilian Ude back like she never left into the team already, and she's already coming clutch.
She has struck again. 2 wickets, 3 runs. And what a way to end the third over. 7 for 2. This was not what we envisaged. This was not what we expected. But the reality staring us in the face is that Rwanda has 7 runs for loss of 2 wickets. And you look at the combined wickets, these are match winners any day, anytime. Gisheli Shimwe and Bimeimana Maridiani, on their day, they can destroy. And in comes Umutoni Wase Clarice, who is expected to stabilize with Fanny. But into the 4th over and the 2nd over for Peace Hussein.
Still some batters in the batting order for the Rwandan side. They still have the likes of Mavil YC alongside Ariel Therese Shimwe. You still have these 2 dependable batters to rely on, but it's just a matter of time. The faster the wickets fall, the more difficult it will be to depend on those 2 batters in the long run. 2 of their top batters right now, Giselle and Bimeimana and Diani, have not really clicked much. Ishimwe Giselle has struggled to replicate her first match performance from match day 1. She's not been able to replicate that, and it is affecting the team's performance as a whole. Back off the edge of the bat, but they didn't travel too fast. There was no initial pace behind that ball, so there's no pace for that ball to feast off of that edge to travel. And they will settle for 1 run, 1 more run to the board for the Rwandan side. The required run rate, despite balls being significantly more earlier on, the required run rate is still now at 5, always increasing per over.
3.3 overs gone. And we are yet to witness a boundary. Shows how tidy the bowling of Nigeria has been. But you also have to say that sometimes scoring low runs has its own advantage. It makes you understand that you cannot afford to give anything away. Oh, lovely shot there. Can they go for 2? 2 is the call, and they will get comfortably 2 runs. And that's what Clarice does. She clarifies things with the bat.
Given the person bowling is a spin bowler, she's not really giving the Rwandan batters anything to play off of, so they've had to include their power into their shot. That will have gone for a boundary if it had come off a pace bowler's ball. But lucky for the Nigerian side. Good thinking. Up in the air and just outside of the 30-yard, no man's land, the ball dropped. Much to the relief of Clarice. They don't want to drop any of that wicket. Already lost 2 wickets in the power play like the female Yellow Greens did in the first inning. The more the wickets drop, the longer this game is going to stretch for Rwanda. They already survived the scare on match day 3 against the under-19 of South Africa. This is an even bigger test regardless of whatever the runs that are on the board are.
Nice thoughts, Peter. 4 overs gone. 11 runs on board. 2 wickets lost. Gijel and Diane, the captain, they need 80 runs in 96 balls. The current run rate is 2.75, and what is required is 5.00. And we are into the 5th over. Batting is Fanny and Clarisse. Clarisse, the left-hand batter, and one of the reliable batters in Team Rwanda. I'm sure in the minds of the Nigerian side, they want to see how they can get the wicket of Clarisse on a day. She's also very good with the bats. And the fact that you need to start changing fielding position when you have a left-hand batter and a right-hand batter, you quickly want to do something about left-hand batters.
Yeah, on multiple occasions, this tactics has helped the Rwandan batting order get few extra runs for free by the bowling side. Like I just said it right now, that wide ball, the left-hand combination, always having to switch, disrupts the bowler's rhythm and line. And that is one of the things that Rwanda have used to their advantage when batting.
Into our 3rd over. She has 2 wickets to her credit. Much better bowling and good comeback from Lillian. And you look at the field setting of Nigeria, they are strategically positioned and they are anticipating either a catch or a run-out chance.
Coming from around the wicket, he's paying off for Lilian Ude. Already in our 3rd over. Nigeria will look to keep at least an over for her going forward in the game. One of the most important bowlers for the female national team since making her debut in the national team at 15, alongside a couple of older mates.
That was very close. And Clarisse will say to herself, I need to slow down a bit and try to rewind and restart. 3 balls gone. 3 more good balls. Lilian Ude into her 3rd over.
Since there's been a little bit of a modification to Lilian Ude's bowling technique, her balls have become quite faster than they used to. Usually, we are more focused on Lilian Ude's line and length when she's bowling, and she bowls at a very dangerous length. But now, she's included more pace to it, and it is proving difficult for the batters to play.
You have to say Lilian Ude, Tormentor-in-Chief, the Ebonyi State player coming from the Court of Appeal end. And for every time she ensures that the run rate is reduced drastically. And Peter, you need to appreciate her because bowled 6 balls, but 5 have been dots. Only 1 was a wide. And this is what they call coming back from adversity to victory. Victory in the sense that the first ball she bowled in that over was a wide, and the next 6 balls she bowled were dots. Fantastic. Lillian, take a bow wherever you are. 5 overs gone, 12 runs on board, 2 wicket loss. 79 runs is what is required in 90 balls. It's still in the hands of Team Rwanda, but the current run rate is 2.40, and what is required is 5.27. So what is required and what is currently happening, they don't match. Peace Hussein, after bowling 2 overs, will take a deserved rest. And of course, a new bowler will come from the pavilion end. Anointed Ozemoya Ahigbe, the younger sister to Miracle Ahigbe. Will that ball eventually get anointed by claiming wickets? Fanny is the batter. She has faced 11 balls and scored 4 runs.
And the like of Lucky Party, as well as Adekunla, Ishola, Asila, Kende, and Muson too. Nigeria is stacked with bowling. Batting has not ever been their most dominant playing drill, but in terms of bowling, they've been very, very good. Looks like it's going to be a first boundary for Rwanda, and yes, it is. The captain, Lucky Party, chased that ball, but ended up escorting it to the boundary.
And you see the wicket keeper, Sarah A-team, going to meet Anointed. You do that for 6 balls, you'll be sent to that place in 6 times. See that again on replay. Effort ended in vain.
Anointed Akibi waiting to start a second ball. Came into bat number 11. She and Esther Sandy pushed the game all the way into the 28th over before getting dismissed. On the leg side, properly punished by Fanny. You do not do that to somebody who just days ago scored a century, the youngest to score a century in T20I. A short ball to the leg, and Fanny does what any batter would do, and that is pull it. Nigeria making the job easy for Rwanda, corrections, and now the current run rate is at 375. The required run rate has dropped down to 4.84. 2 boundaries in quick succession. It looks like the first 5 overs, the effort the first 5 overs have done in nullifying runs, in keeping those runs at B has been nullified with 8 runs already. 12 in the first 4 and 8 in just 2 balls. The gap is massive, Ajidagba.
If you don't do the right things, you don't get the right results. She has everything to fix. Anointed Ozemoya Ahigbe in 3 balls has given away 9 runs. And the captain of the side will say, was it a wrong choice not to have allowed Peace Hussein to finish that 3rd over? But then they say captains live and die with their decisions. Only 2 balls have been bowled, good balls.
Who knows, Ajidagba? We could be seeing another Belize in the first inning, bowled at least wide in and over, and ended up getting a wicket. She did that for 2 consecutive overs. The 3rd over, where she did not get a wicket, she ended up giving out just 1 run. This could be a reenactment of that feat. A big dive in the day by Chukwunoye. That ball was certainly destined for the boundaries if she had not put her hand and collect and receive the fraction of that power from the ball. Help kill the speed behind the ball. And the female yellow greens can still fight a little bit longer. 68 of 86 now. I would say that's more cards on the table of the Rwanda than the Nigerian fielding side.
This over is turning out to be a game changer. And you can see the look on the faces of Team Nigeria. And they are asking, Anointed, what's going on? You can't do better than what you are doing. But the reality staring us in the face is that this over has been an expensive over.
This time in front of the batter, outside of off. And they used that as an opportunity to add one more run to the board. She's had a very good length of pitch, but the line has been inconsistent. And that has gifted the Rwandan batters to exploit and take advantage of the nativity of Anointed Akigbe. Last ball of the power play overs. 25 for 2. Final ball. Anointed Akigbe looking to end this over as quick as possible. A flick and a loud appeal, which we all know would not be granted. On the leg side, that ball pitched outside of leg stump.
6 overs gone, 25 for 2. It will interest you to know that in the first 5 overs, Nigeria only conceded 12 runs. But just one single over, Nigeria conceded 13 runs, and see that again on replay, how it all started. Fani allowing Lucky Piety to chase in vain. Another Fani, boundary. Nothing the fielders could do about it. Chase in vain, Muibat. 25 for 2, 6 overs gone. The current run rate is 4.17, and what is required is 4.71. They need 66 runs in 84 balls. Peace Hussein is back from that end that gave Lilian Ude 2 wickets. Let's see whether Peace will be lucky.
Finally brought back into the attack. This time she comes from the Court of Appeal end. Was the opening pair with Lilian Ude, where she was coming from the pavilion end, and then that Anointed Akigbe just finished from. Peace comes from the other end for a third over. Everyone on the Nigerian fielding side is very active on the field, ready to attack the ball. They know that the runs are quite low and they want to defend it till the very end. It will be a very beautiful scenario seeing Nigeria defend their lowest total against the Rwandan side. Good gloves of Sarah Etim, caught that edge soon as it went off the bat of Fani. Fani hasn't been able to replicate that form from match day 1. Now she goes out 3 wickets down already for the Rwandan side. Good ball from Peace Hussein, 7th wicket of this tournament. Three wickets down And the Rwandan side have the likes of Mavil YC and Henriette Ishimwe. Mavil YC the battle currently incoming. This will be we used to see Mavil YC's explosive starts to games and approach. 2 LB appeals already confirmed by the umpire for Team Nigeria. Lilian Ude getting one after a bowled, and Peace Hussein. More wickets might fall very soon. Just 6.2 overs completed. It was at this point of the game in the first inning, Salome Sunday had gone out, getting caught by the fielder at covers, losing the third wicket for the female Yellow Greens, and now already around the same number of balls. She and her team on level on wickets taken. Now attention is on the shoulders of the Rwandan side. 3 wickets already almost into the middle order. Seven wickets in this tournament for Peace Hussein, 1 behind Maridiani, and we still a game left for the Nigerian Yellow Greens.
Peter, the batter who also came in now is another reliable batter, Melville Wase, the wicket keeper. Very good at her craft. But coming from the Court of Appeal end is Peace Hussein, and just one will be taken. It's interesting to know that in this tournament, this is match 8, day 4. Peter, in all the matches, no team has ever chased and won. The only team to have done that is Nigeria against Zimbabwe. Everything that have batted first have won.
There is a lot to that. The teams that have batted first, they have always had the intention of posing a very high competitive total, trusting their bowling to suppress whatever that team will come, the opposing side will come in and do in the second inning, which has worked. We saw it from Rwanda on match day 3, match 6, where their captain had to come for the final over. Experience beat youth any day, as South Africa couldn't score 11 of 6 balls. And Rwanda were able to bring a sign of relief. 27 for 3 wickets lost after 7 overs. Rwanda will be needing 64 of the next 78 balls.
The captain has decided to take responsibility, and that's what leaders do. They don't lead from the back, they lead from the front. Lucky Piety will hope to be lucky by claiming wickets. Unfortunately, the anointed one, yes, she has anointing over her life, but in that over of hers, there was no anointing. The anointing went to the batting side, and they scored 13 runs. Starting out with a wide, certainly not what is expected of Lucky Piety.
Clary still being on the batting crease, pairing with a right-hander batter, is going to pose some threat and a little bit of confusion to the Nigerian bowlers, as you expected to be consistent, not having to regularly come for a left-hander to a right-hander can sometimes be confusing, especially when you're doing it ball after ball after ball. The field setting becomes tired and complacent. The bowler becomes very frustrated, having to always readjust the arm and the line, and that is how you tap into the balls, because at that point, playable balls tend to surface, and a good left-hand batter takes advantage of all of that.
Well, we just have to point out something that just happened. The first 2 balls bowled by Lucky Piety was a wide, and she had to change the position where she was bowling from, and that almost gave a scare to the Rwandan bench, where Clarice was going to get into trouble through an LB, but Temitope Oniko Ijabar felt that ball wasn't threatening her stumps, and so she continues to bat.
Yeah, pitching outside leg. There is no way an appeal will be granted, but it's nice for and a relief for the Nigerian side to know that he finished with a dot. 2 consecutive balls bowled after 2 extras, and it's 2 dots in a row. Lucky Piety is starting to redeem herself in the batting innings. She couldn't stay beyond the first over.
The captain has to do better. You can't be bowling spin and then you're giving 3 wides in 1 over. The reason you came was to act as a redeemer and salvage the situation following what happened to Ozemoya Anointed Aigbe. Much better bowling there. They know within themselves that they didn't do well with the bat. You, the captain, also didn't do well with the bat. And so you can't be giving free lunch when you are not even in Freetown.
No ball called by the umpire. 2 full from Lucky Piety. Every extra that comes off is a gift to Rwanda. Nigeria don't want to do that. The score is already low enough. Don't make the job easier. 60 now, still of 75 balls. Very little for Rwanda to worry about. 4 extras already. Every proper and legal delivery is yet to give out a run. Still 3 more balls to go. Remains to see how it goes. On the leg side, totally outside of off, and Sarah hits him. Having no fielder in the deep, chases that ball. Also gave a big chase. Peace Hussein from short fine leg assisting the wicket keeper, who with the pads would have some restriction when running to give a chase. But luckily it wasn't a boundary, and the free hit ends with just 2. A little bit of a float to try and tempt Clarice to play it in the air to the already set and open field. Everyone is waiting and agile. A slip up from Rwanda could see another wicket fall very quickly. Not buying the gift. Thou shalt not fall for temptation, says Clarice, as that lofted ball was still driven on the ground. 1 run to end the 8th over. 34 on the board for 3 wickets lost. Rwanda will now be needing 37 of the next 72 balls.
$34 for 3 after 8 overs. Current run rate is at 4.25, and what is required is 4.75. And there will be a change in commentary, and here comes Endurance of M into the 9th over.
We talked about how important that score around 90 would be. It's 57 runs requires from 72 deliveries, 34 for 3, and into the 9th over. A big slap at that one, misses inside edge, and fielder chases a much needed boundary. That would be a reliever for Rwanda. And this is a real game here in our hands. The scoring points at stake, the ranking points at stake. You can say that because this is international T20 eyes.
Pisusen into our last over. And just 1 wicket shy of the lady leading. As far as today is concerned, she's done and dusted. Already took 2 wickets for 13 runs in 4 overs. And with the bat, she didn't really do well. But she'll be hoping that Clarisse and Umutoniwase do well.
Swings and misses out on that one. Big shout. Questions by the wicket keeper. But that'll be a leg by. More runs than this added. As long as they keep going, the only way Nigeria would have to win this game is to take wickets. And these 2 back through, the next 10 overs game will be done and dusted. Clearly. However, the intensity is on, and that's Pace Hussein. She wants a single, and she will throw her body on that one. Pace Hussein, anyone who remembers the African Games will remember her. She was dangerous with the ball, took plenty of wickets for Nigeria, and I'm sure the team got a bronze medal in that tournament. But today, it's 51 required from 68. Clarisse and Uwase in the air, uppish, and looks safe. This will go all the way. Brilliant shot. Amazing. This is a class act, you can say this. Watch that replay coming soon. In the block, there to be taken, and she obliged. Clarisse, what a beauty of a shot. Anytime, any day.
Clarisse with so much clarity, sending the ball to the boundary, and that's what they need. Final ball of Pace Hussein.
That's the beauty of spin bowling. Slowish delivery, plenty of grip on that one. The surface obliged. That's it again on the replay. This time flatter. And then the turn almost got Clarisse in all sorts of trouble. But that brings us to the end of the 9th over, and it is 44 for the loss of 3 wickets. Again, the chase is on. They're getting closer. 47 of 66 deliveries left. With Rwanda smile today. Both teams, you never can say, have lost a couple and won a couple against each other. And that's just the beauty and uncertainty around this game called cricket.
I recall back in 2022, they lost the final game against Nigeria by 9 runs. And the captain, Bimeyi Manamari Diani, said that loss brought out the beast in us, and they eventually defeated Nigeria in the final by 54 runs. Now, the 2025 Female Player of the Year, Muibat Kehinde Amusa, who scored just 9 runs below our standard, has an opportunity to do well with the ball.
Straight up and into the block hole. That's where you want to be. Uwase will have to commence again. First 5 deliveries, only scored 1 run. And Clarisse, 16 of 24 deliveries. Amusa, and she's been here before. And she will have to be focused and do it again for our team. She wants a run-out opportunity. Will it be? No, it's safe. Disappointing. And they get a second. No, needless. Brilliant bowling here by Amusa, but she has to do a lot more to guarantee victory here for Nigeria. Those dot balls are required and keep the game as close as possible. She goes big again. This time lands before the fielders. It should be a wide delivery. And she needs to stay consistent. The wicket keeper, they have been very handy here. Sarah hits him. She wants a single and they get it. Soft hands there into that gap. And just a few that staying a bit too deep. Uwase knows what she has to do. Just get off strike and let Clarissa be in control. That left-right hand combination would always be a problem or trouble to any bowling side. Just halfway through the run chase. Beauty, what a beauty. Consistency, been asking a lot of questions around there. It's Amusa who gets the break for Nigeria. And that's it. That's what they've been waiting for. I'll tell you what, and it is 48 for the loss of 4 wickets in 9.5 overs. And there you have it again in the replay. Beautiful line from Amusa. Just that one into that off stump. And Clarissa is sent packing while we take drinks. For somebody to use it so I can get them.
All right, welcome back wherever you're watching this live for the 8 for 4 after 9.5. Of course, the two sides are done and dusted with their drinks break of the day. Edged straight away from Ariete Ishimwe, the Chelsea's owner, but the chase will be in vain. Fortune favors the brave as she gets off the mark in style. As the 50 comes up for Team Rwanda right after the 10th over. Welcome back, Mr. Endurance. What a game we have here on our cards.
Well, it's Rwanda versus Nigeria, and it's Bob and Endurance in the comms box. We want to win both games, yeah? 39 of 60 balls. I'll tell you what, Rwanda are on the driving seat. Easier game to lose, but you can't take anything away from these beautiful games. 2-3 wickets, and we're back to the same situation Nigeria were in the first innings. The required run rate is just 3 and over, and they're sitting on 5.9, 5.2 in a very comfortable stage. Big thank you to our sponsors, the Providence Bank, Russo Advisory, Dafa Bets, Nigerian Breweries. If you are not here, make sure you're here on Saturday, the 28th of March 2026. Will be the final game starting at 2 p.m. It promises some amazing, fantastic cricket. She wants it, no easy call. Henriette.
This is an interesting and smart move, you'd say there, from the female Yellow Greens, bringing back Lilian Ude, who has already picked up 2 wickets. They would love her to see if she can pick up one of these two, Uwase Merveille and Ariete Ishimwe. She has a deep extra cover, long offer, long on. And the third man, interestingly, no one patrolling the onside. You would expect, of course, to see her targeting that off stump. Touch and go, but again, straight to the fielder at pointer. No run taken.
We spoke about day one about Lilian Ude's not leaping. Was told she probably has some injury she's recovering from, and that explains why, because she's a flying Nigerian girl. But hopefully she can get that break today, but not with bowling short pitch delivery. She needs to ask a lot of questions around the wicket lines and lengths. Soft hands. This is a war of numbers, 39 of 57 deliveries.
I don't mind seeing what Merveille is trying to do to play out Lilian Ude, who's tormented them in the last couple of years. She has figures of 6 for 7 in her 4 overs in the last year's Kwibuka edition in Rwanda against Team Rwanda. So these next 3 balls, if they don't lose a wicket, I believe they will need to target only 1 over where they can get even 10 runs and over to be back in the game. They still have wickets in hand, but again, as we know, wickets in hand don't mean runs on board. They have the likes of Alice Ikuzwe out there, padded the likes of Belize Murekatete, who is no rabbit with bat in hand.
Like I said earlier, it's Rwanda's game to lose. They have what it takes to go all the way. They just have to be disciplined. Like I said, it's just 1 wicket that brings on 2 and 3, and then the game might just swing around. But at the moment, it's Rwanda who are on the driving seats. The flight from Kigali is not so long.
Another dot ball there from Lilian Ude. Bowling it in the right channel again. Very good player she has been is Uwase Merveille in the last couple of games for the national team. She's always played a finishing role, but this time round, they would want her to get her team over the line alongside Ariete Ishimwe. They need 39 to get in 56. Something has to give. Change of pace again. A lovely shot again. Straight to the field. That covers run out chance. Make that 5 dot balls from Lilian Ude.
And clearly, she brings that pressure along with her. But I don't think if she doesn't get wickets, it will be much of a problem. She needs to get the wicket, because Uwase and Henriette are 2 experienced foes.
Into the pads, I worked on the onside, the fine leg being inside the ring. Not the best way to close off over is Leland Ude. Much needed boundary here for Team Rwanda.
How do you bowl so well and drift down the leg side? Brings the score to 56 for 4 wickets in 11 overs.
Just told you something had to give. Angling into the pads, given the field set she had, unnecessarily done by Leland Ude. It is 56 for 4 after 11. Kehinde Amusa is back, the player of the year 2025 for the female Yellow Greens. Very good all-rounder she is, turning out to be at a very young age. If I'm not mistaken, I think she will be part of that Under 19 World Cup. And they decide otherwise. The female Yellow Greens are led by the captain, Lucky Paiti. As you see the introduction of Shola Adekunle. Right arm leg break. She has a very good googly.
I thought she perhaps been introduced too late. Maybe it should have been bowling when it was 50 plus runs. We'll see what she makes of this. 35 runs to play with. Would that be too much? Would that be too little? Time will tell. But it's Adekunle to Henriette.
Again, coming back to your point, we haven't seen Adekunle shown a ball that much lately. Enticing delivery to start off from Adekunle.
We got some brilliant leg spinners in this tournament. 2 South African leg spinners. And Adekunle is one of those beauties.
Let's have a look at her field. The mid-off is inside the ring, which can be very risky given that she is spinning it away from the right-handers. And of course, Ariete Ishimwe loves playing it down the ground. Wide signal by the umpire, Temitope Onikoyi. She has a long gun, deep square leg, deep mid-wicket, and a deep extra cover. Those are the 4 boundary riders for Adekunle Ashola. Rocks back on the back foot, goes for the big cut shot. Sloppy there, but they don't take on the risk.
That's how beauty this field placement is. You have 2. The mid-off is wider, so gives that room and inviting that shot. I'm hoping that Henriette will buy it, but Adekunle needs to be spot on.
Full on that occasion, nearly ricochets it into our own stumps is Ariete Ishimwe. But again, you'd feel that the matchup would be in favor of Uwase Merveille, who has a lot of shots. We've seen her, of course, play the switch hit effectively, of course, in this tournament.
Shola needs to concentrate a lot more. She hasn't got a lot of runs to play with. But hopefully she gets it in the right length and line.
Goes on the back foot is Uwase Merveille. Nearly takes the outside edge. Got to be very careful. She has one that skids through. 2 more balls to come from Adekunle Shola. Goes cheeky but straight to the fielder at short third.
He spoke about it. Let's just stay consistent with that line and length. As long as you don't deviate, you know she's got that option. Make sure there's protection around there because it will be taken. Those are scoring options against spinners.
Goes again on the back foot. A very fantastic over there from Adekunle Shola. Goes for only 2 runs. It's the end of the 12th. 58 for 4. Needing 33 in 48. Getting more interesting is this clash of the Titans. The host nation taking on Team Rwanda. Leland Ude up there finishing a spell. Picking up 2 wickets for just 8 runs. Would have been only 4 runs if she had not targeted the pads of Uwase Merveille, who picked it up into the vacant fine leg region. And the wicket from Amusa Kehinde of Umutoni Uwase Clarisse. Very disciplined bowling there from the female Yellow Greens. It tells you the intensity of this game.
I like what I see around the economy rates for Adekunle and Lillian Ude. Again, that explains why she was being respected in that last over. But she drifted, maybe looking for too much and too many wickets. I think she has done well for herself. I just hope she recovers strongly to become that same this time. Straight to the fielder. Some intensity and real work here. The pressure is beginning to soak in. 33 required from 46 deliveries. The current run rate just 5.5 above the required. It's a no ball.
Interesting decision there, you'd say, from the umpire. It didn't look like that delivery pitched anywhere. But they don't mind the extras. Shot on that occasion, straight back to the bowler who puts down a dolly. It's Kehinde Amusa. That was struck powerfully. Straight back to her.
See it again on the replay. It was there for the take, but I'll tell you what, you rarely expect those things to come back to you. But it was, she just took her minds off that. Eyes off the ball. And say what? It could have been in more trouble for Rwanda.
I think she got deceived with the sounder of the blade, of course. Into the pads again, works it on the onside. Still struggling to get her timing right is Ishimwe Henriette. She's not had the best of tournaments so far.
I kind of like the pressure these games bring. Nigeria versus Rwanda.
Quicker on that occasion. Very good bowler she is Kehinde Amusa, not giving them room whatsoever. She would love, of course, the ball to Ishimwe Henriette, who's looked to be struggling. It's the intensity that this rivalry brings. Remember, they've played 26 times. Of course, Rwanda being ahead with 12 wins. Full on that occasion into the block hole. Another dot ball. Fantastic bowling right after the drinks break from the female yellow greens. You can see they're not giving up in this chase. 30 to get in 44 balls. Shot on the occasion, the fielder at short mid-wicket gives it a diver, but in vain. Much needed boundary here for Henriette Ishimwe and Team Rwanda.
This is disappointing. I'm hoping that would have gone straight to the fielder. Shapes up, and hit that one through leg side. And the mid-wicket region had only one fielder. That's what you have to think through when you have to bowl short. It's end of the 13th over. It is 65 for 4. 26 runs required from 42 balls.
Anyone's game?
Well, until we have 5 runs left. You know, these Nigerians know how to fight.
Short ball without any fielder patrolling the onside. Takes a little shimmy. Up. It will fall into the vacant region.
I like the confidence Uwese brings to the crease. She looks to go aggressive. Paces herself, but we must give it to Adekunle, who has been bowling, who is bowling in very difficult times. With 25 runs left, 41 balls. Not much to play with.
Takes a little shimmy, gets it on the full, up and over the bowler's head. A little bit of effort in the deep again, in vain. Putting on the show is Ishimwe Henriette. She looks to be in a lot of pain. Look at that again on the replay. Took a little shimmy, created room, got to the reach of the ball. They normally say if you want to hit it to the safer part, go straight over the bowler's head. 21 to get in, 40 deliveries as the fielder in the deep will have some treatment. A lot of injuries, endurance in today's games.
Young bones, but they will come right over time. They have to get used to this form of cricket. Plenty of pressure.
So those are some of the wickets earlier on, courtesy of Lilian Ude. Picking up, of course, 2 wickets in the power play. Of course, that was the last wicket of Umutoni Uwase Clarissa. Team Rwanda, who are yet to test any defeat in this particular 5th edition of the Nigeria Women's Invitational Tournament, Patricia Kambarami Cup, find themselves on 70 for 4, needing only 21. 13 extras bowled by the female Yellow Greens, a little bit expensive, given that they are defending only 91 runs. Uwase Merveille, on the other hand, she's still out there. 17 balls faced for her 9. Normally, it used to be the opposite. But they don't mind her staying out there, building a partnership with Ishimi Ariete. So far, 2 boundaries for her 14.
Bowling scorecard for you, Lilian Ude, 2 for 8 runs, 21 dot balls, and economy rate of 2. Adekunle Shola still bowling her second over. No wicket yet, but that economy rate seated on 5. Hussein Peace, 1 wicket there for 14. That partnership showing again, Clarisse and Fanny, the great Fanny Centurion. She's the only Centurion thus far in this tournament. And Clarisse again with Uwase in 23 of 22.
This is not a good batting lineup you would want to see, given that you're defending only 21 runs. Up to Giovannis Uwase, they can all bat. 21 to get 040. It's what the equation reads there on your screens. They feel like he's back on her feet. Play will resume, of course. Can this be the over they target? They have a deep mid-wicket, deep square leg, and a deep extra cover and long on for Adekunle Shola. Goes for the sweep shot, beats everyone, including the wicket keeper, but they will only settle for 1 run. $20 to get. We haven't seen her with that switch hit that goes for a boundary. Of course, goes for the big sweep shot. But through fine protection in the deep, in the captain, she might have pulled the muscle is Uwase Merveille. She looks to be fine, but a little bit limping there. She's been one of the key players in this 5th edition for Team Rwanda. That's right, under 20 runs. Shot again from Adekunle Shola. Bowling it all over, allowing Ishimi Ariete once again picking up an easy boundary. Unnecessarily bowled there, you'd say.
You know, we spoke about this at the time she's bowling. You can't be bowling that short with very little runs to defend. And that's what happens when you don't have enough runs on the board. The spinner is a bit under pressure and trying too many things because you have to get wickets. I would have thought they would have opened the bowling with her with 90 odd runs on the board, but with 30 left, it becomes very difficult to have a grip on things. And at the moment, it's 15 required of 37 balls. Henriette just enjoying herself, 19 of 12, and Adekunle continues with her last delivery.
Rocks back on the back foot, but this time round finds the fielder at point. As we come to the end of the 14th, it's a 76 for 4, needing only 15 runs. I also want to, when you look at the previous 3 boundaries, right from the first ball, the captain was fielding at the boundary ropes. Do you think it's playing a big role in setting the field?
There must be an understanding there about field placement. I'm sure they've got a captain in the ring. However, the wicketkeeper usually, but your captain, you should be in the fray of things, because you can make quick decisions as they come along. You can be close to players and understand how they feel. 6 overs to come, but how we will cope with the Pens, because we have 15 runs here. And Miss Henriette and Uwase on strike now.
Still very young in her captaincy role is Lucky Paiti. 76 for 4. Kehinde Amusa, who picked up a wicket of Mutonis Uwase Clarissa, finds these two already into double digits. Starts off with an extra down the leg side. They started off with a very good body language. The female yellow greens, I'm not sure what happened. They found themselves, of course, shell-shocked, courtesy of those 3 boundaries from Ariete Ishimwe.
Early on, defending very low total requires consistency. And when you lose focus, this is what happened. The game is taken away from you. You can't afford too many boundaries like what we have seen, too many extras. Doesn't work well for this kind of chase. And now, Rwanda is just strolling to the total, I can say. Clearly, do you agree? Only magic can happen. Peter, welcome to the Comms.
Another person who believes in magic endurance, as we welcome Peter back into the commentary box. Looking very, very easy chase here at the moment for the Rwandans. Full on that occasion to the pads, but this time around finds the fielder at short mid-wicket, the captain herself. Not the best of body languages there you would see from Lucky Paiti. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you very much, Bob. We knew going into the second innings that every boundary was going to accelerate Rwanda's chances of winning this game. 13 needed of the next 34 balls. That is still a lot of balls and very little runs on the board. Each time a run is doubled or to the boundary, it is an opportunity. And this game is almost slipped out of the hands of the female yellow greens.
You think they still stand a chance at the female yellow greens?
I'm not the type to completely rule out possibility, but having to defend 12 runs of the next 33 balls, it's a very slim chance, very slim.
Into the block call from Kehinde Amusa. But what a tournament we have here on our cards. Match day 4. This is game number 8. As we spoke about earlier, the female yellow greens were yet to be tested in this tournament. They still have a game to go tomorrow as they take on the South Africa under-19s. Apisha. There's protection in the deep at long off. A little bit of fumble, but they're not interested in the second run at these 2.
Everyone is tense now. This is home soil, losing to Rwanda. Surely most of these players that are just playing in this competition for the first time, they are not used to, they do not know the magnitude of this fixture, this rivalry. And as such, they are really, really tense, not wanting to lose on home soil. And it thoughts just make them a little bit shaky. We saw that from the Rwandan side against South Africa under 19, given how close they were to losing that game. There was a little bit of shakiness, fielding misconception, and this is an example of it. Already in front of the ball with a long barrier, and the ball still beat the fielder. How that happened, I cannot explain it.
Goodness me. But again, very good shot on the back footer. Hit powerfully straight as a die. Would have been an easy single. She put herself into position way, way early. But our mate endurance said that when you lose focus, when you snooze, you lose. 7 runs to get in the next 30 deliveries.
84 for 4, 15 overs completed, 7 of 30. At this point, Bob, there is no possibility again. This
Don't
game
give up,
is.
Peter. Come on.
It's not me giving up. It's me being realistic. There's no way. There's no chance that Rwanda don't score 7 runs in the next 30 balls.
I'll tell you, Malinga has ever picked up back in the days 4 wickets in 4 balls.
I don't think Malinga bowled to the likes of Harriet Ishiwe and Wasi Maville. If he did, it would have been a much more difficult feat to achieve.
Anointed is back. Loud appeal into the block over, but the umpire says not out. Looked like it was missing leg stump. She's not had the best days in the office with the ball. Started off giving away 13 runs in a very fast over.
A huge shout for her to go by. Having given out 13 in the first over, and just 7 is needed, and she's still being entrusted with the ball. It is a make or break over for Anointed Akigbe. She seals this, she finishes this over strong, and it prompts her and gives her more chance to bowl going forward in the tournament.
Slot on the occasion, they'll keep the scoreboard ticking, edging closer and closer to yet another winner is Team Rwanda. Coming back to your point, Peter, it's not a bad point, but as a bowler on the team, you got to do your You got to do your part, despite, of course, that the Rwandans have outplayed the female yellow greens in this particular fixture. You can see she's still struggling with her run up. I'm not sure why.
It appears that it is not being marked, so she always has to recalculate her steps in order not to miss a step in when going with the follow through.
Up and over. The fielder at mid-over for yet another boundary. Just a hit away for the Rwandans, who've really made a statement in this 5th edition of the Nigeria Women's Invitational Tournament. Patricia Kambaramika, full on that occasion, opened up the front leg. No chance, butterfingers from the fielder at mid-off, allowing the ball to go all the way. 2 runs to get. Very casual there on your screens. Ariete Ishimwe, this is where she can be very, very dangerous. Getting form at the right time. 28 of 17.
That was a proper delivery by Anointed Akigbe, and a wicket chance that fell through the hands of the fielder. 2 more runs is needed of 27 balls. 3 balls left to go in this over. It remains, we're just waiting to see how long it takes.
How long it takes, you say. Listen to the sound. Up and over, this should be it, as Ariete Ishim has put on a show with the bat, with that good cameo of 32 of 18 deliveries to make sure Rwanda stay unbeaten in this 5th edition of the Nigeria Women's Invitational Tournament. They came, they saw they've conquered as they move into the semi-final round, unbeaten with a record of 100%, winning, of course, by 6 wickets against their rivalry team, the host nation, the female yellow greens. A lot of work to be done for the female yellow greens, of course, if they are to upset Team Rwanda, if they, of course, win their semi-finals. Of course, the female yellow greens earlier had won the toss, decided to have a bat faster, with a very collective performance from the Rwandans bowlers, made sure they restricted the female yellow greens to just 91 runs, and they've made the chase look very, very easy, courtesy of that 32 of 18 from Ariete Teresa Ishimwe once again. 7 boundaries with a very good strike rate of 177. Very good contribution, I would say, there from Uwase Merveille. 13 off 23, once again the youngster Ufani Utagushima Ninde. 15 off 18, nothing much from the captain.
And in the bowling scorecard, Ude Lilian, being back in the squad, picked up the most wickets. That is 2 wickets today for the female yellow greens. Peace Hussein also adding a wicket to herself. Anointed didn't have the best of games, as in 1.4 overs, give out 22 runs. And Lucky Piety, 1 over spell. Amusa Kende Muiba could only pick up a wicket, as Adekule Shola couldn't add the wicket to it, helping Rwanda glide to the targeted 91 runs that was needed. And that is 4 straight wins in a row in this edition. That is 6 international wins in a row for the Rwandan women.
Let's have a look at the match summary of match day 4, game 8. Nigeria taking on Rwanda. 36 from Esther Sandy, a very good handy knock, but in vain, of 31. 11 from Amusa of 23. 9 from Christabel Chukwonye. Belize Mulekatete once again making the inroads in the power play, picking up 2 massive wickets. A little bit expensive for her, 24 in her allotted 4 overs. Rosine Irera once again picking up 2 for 11. And the captain, 2 for 13 in her 4 overs. And in the response, of course, of the chaser, Rwanda led by Ariete Teresa Ishim with 32 of 18, 17 from Umton Iwase Clarice, and the 15 from the young Fanny Utagushima Ninde. 2 wickets from Lilian Ude once again with magical figures. Went for only 8 in her 4 overs. Peace Hussein once again picking up another wicket for 19. Amusa Kehinde, 1 for 23 in her 3 overs, as Rwanda winning by 6 wickets. Do not go anywhere. Do enjoy some of the highlights. We'll be back shortly with the post-match presentation with our mate Ajidaba. As for now, it's me, Songabo Bashir, signing out.
Welcome to the post-match presentation of the Nigerian Cricket Federation Women's T20 Invitational Tournament, the 5th edition, tagged the Patricia Chipo Kambarami Cup. The game we just saw was day 4, match 8 of this competition, with Team Rwanda remaining unblemished, winning their opponents, Nigeria. Offered in the hands of Rwanda is the first you'll be losing in this tournament. Has it brought out the beast in you people?
We're registered as players, cricketers, and athletes. There is no beast. We just want to compete.
Finally, up next is tomorrow morning, where you'll be facing South Africa under-19 team. 2 identical.
Tomorrow has its own strategies, just like today has.
I wish you all the best in your subsequent games. Well, he just said the captain of Nigeria, Lucky Piety, was unlucky today, but he said they will keep fighting. At this juncture, I will now invite the captain who has not suffered any loss, the captain of Team Rwanda, Bimeyimana Maridiane. The first thing I want to say is, Skip, congratulations.
Thank you.
How excited are you getting a 6-wicket victory over the 2023 champions?
Oh, it's a very good feeling because we really did well out there.
What exactly is working for Team Rwanda? You've played all your matches and you've not suffered any loss. Seems something is working.
Yeah, we are doing all the departments very correctly. That's why we are getting these wins. We are not relying on anyone, so everyone is contributing, whether with the ball or with the bat.
You've completed all your matches and you are just waiting for your semi-final opponent. What can you say about your entire teammates? One word.
Just to go switch off and make sure that we relax for now as we are waiting for the semi-final to know who we are playing with, and we make sure that we do all the things correctly on the semi-final.
Diani, I wish you all the best in your subsequent games. Well, you just heard from the captain of Team Rwanda, Bimeyimana Maridiane, who is over the moon. 4 out of 4 unblemished, not suffered any loss out of the matches that they played. They are unblemished. At this juncture, we will now go to the player of the match. But before the player of the match, honorable mention to the likes of Esther Sandy, who did well with the bat, scoring 36 runs. But of course, our player of the match has to be a player who is proven and vastly experienced, Henriette Therese Ishimwe. To help me present the player of the match, I'll call on the Secretary General of Nigeria Cricket Federation, Mr. Sonny Mohammed. Congratulations, 32 runs of 18 balls and 1 wicket, Henriette Ishimwe, player of the match. Well, you join the growing list of players who have won the player of the match for Team Rwanda. It shows the quality that this Team Rwanda has got. In your first game, you had to come down to the 15-year-old 223 days player, Fanny Utagushinaninde, Bimeyimana Maridiane, Alice Kuzwe, and now is Henriette Therese Ishimwe. How excited are you winning the player of the match?
I'm so excited because it's a really good thing I have to be proud of. Yeah.
Do you want to win many more player of the match?
Of course.
I wish you all the best, Henriette.
Thank you.
Well, you just heard from Henriette Ishimwe, player of the match between